6:06 on a Thursday morning, but we are up and moving at Charwood Golf Club for the 24th annual LC Memorial Golf Tournament. Happy Veterans Day to everybody out there. Thank you to all the veterans that have served our country. I get a little choked up just thinking about it. My grandfather was a veteran, was in the Korean War, and several others, and was a prisoner of war. So I get a little choked up just thinking about it. But we got a lot of great veterans out there and want to thank each and every one of them on a fantastic day here at Charwood Golf Club. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette. Oh, the live stream is up and going, and it looks, it looks like you would expect it to look. I look about the same. Patrick looks cold again. He's got a sweatshirt on. He's got a jacket on.
I haven't changed at all.
He hasn't changed. He hasn't changed. You can see that on the live stream this morning. You can go there and check it out. You can join us here, 803-404-6100. Jen Jensen is staring at two chairs in the studio that contain neither I or Patrick. So we've let the child control the house while we're out. Yes, just as you would imagine, when you leave your teenage daughter in charge of the house and you go out for a date night, that is what has happened.
So used to not having us there, and
now we were back. We were back to not have controller. We would control her. We would make her keep her studio clean, do all the things that good parents do. But we are out and about today again at the 24th annual LC Lucas Memorial Tournament here at Charwood Golf Club. It is in honor of Mr. Lucas, who founded Charwood Country Club in 1978. They have held this tournament on Veterans Day to honor all the vets out there, as well as founder LC Lucas, who was a World War II Navy veteran. And after his passing in 1998, the Lucas family established Charwood Provide for those in need. Last year, the tournament raised over $10,000. You can actually still help. Just because it's Veterans Day, you haven't missed an opportunity. You can call in today, 803-755-2000, and donate gifts or money. For more information, again, call 803-755-2000 to join us this morning. Carlton weighing in on the Buford Lending live stream. He says he is a U.S. Navy veteran. Congratulations, Carl, and thank you again for your service on a special day. For our country, for our veterans. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thursday episode of the early game. We've got plenty to get to as we really now start to look ahead towards South Carolina and Missouri. Coming up today at 7:45 on the program, Dr. Grabowski with Prisma Health Orthopedic will join us to talk about back injuries and some spine injuries, some things of that nature. Coming up at 8:20 this morning, it'll be Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com, MajorWager.com, joining us to give his picks for the weekend. I have texted with him last night. He has sent me his picks.
How did he do last week?
We can go back and look. That's the good thing.
He was getting a hard time from a couple listeners for the week before.
Yeah, he did very good week one. Week two was, let's see, I think he was very good week one and week two. Week three was not good. This will be week four, I believe. So maybe it was week one was good. Week two was, I got to go back and look. That's the beauty of when you send me direct messages. I hold on to them for all of life. Just hold on to them, and we'll go back and look. Last week, just looking, Patrick, he had UTEP plus the 11 on UTSA. I have no clue. He had Mississippi State plus the 5 at Arkansas. I believe they covered that one. He had Texas A&M minus 4-ish at Auburn. They covered that one. He had Bama minus 17 in the first half. He did not get that one. He had Florida minus 10 in the first half. He did not get that one. And he had the Bengals minus 2. So about 2 and 3, 2 and 2. Yeah, did not get that one either. So about 2 and 3 last week. But he'll join us coming up at roughly 8:20 this morning, and then we will wrap up the NASCAR season with Kerry Tharp at about 8:45 this morning. Our pick'em contest is finally concluded. Jen, unfortunately, I'm not in the studio for you to do a trophy presentation for me today. And then for some odd reason, you're going out of town tomorrow. I don't understand how that exactly happens, how I come back for my trophy. That's exactly what I thought. It tells me I'm number one is what I would imagine. Mhm. Yep. So there's that. So a busy schedule for today. If you want to weigh in between 803 404 6100, how you can do so. Billy weighing in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line and says, "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the early game. I would like to say thank you to all the veterans, and then I would like to see us whip up." Or he said, "Whoop the snot out of Missouri." Thank you once again to the veterans for your service, Billy. Thank you for that text message, Billy. I agree. Thank you to all the veterans out there who have again served our country, and I see no better way to start a lovely, beautiful Thursday morning here. Again, we're at Charwood Golf Club for the 24th annual line 803. I know of no better way to start a Veterans Day, a Gamecock football. I consider Thursday part of the weekend. I guess I'm just lazy, but a Gamecock football weekend. No better way to start than with our own veteran, our one of the best out there, one of our favorite callers, Gamecock Larry. How are you feeling this morning, young man? And congratulations. Thank you for your service. We all want to thank you for your service, your time. Take care, big guy. And again, happy Veterans Day, Jenny. Jenny, yeah, you'll get them. You'll get them next year. You'll get them next year, Jenny. And but thank you, Gamecock Larry. Very wise you are. Very wise. All those years of Gamecock Larry rubbing off on you. And again, thank you to Gamecock Larry and all the veterans that are out there today. Anonymous texter weighs in and says my trophy should be a pie to the face. That seems extreme on a 614 on a Thursday, although I think Jen is smiling back in studio and would agree with you. John, yeah, John weighs in. He says, "Happy Veterans Day." From John, your favorite Wisconsin fan, and I sent you some pics. Thought I'd put a face with the voice. Say hi to Jen. Thanks for all you guys do for us. So, John, thank you and appreciate it. Let's see here. Michael weighs in. He says, "Good morning, Gator fan, Michael and Marine vet, 2011 to 2019, still reeling from last weekend, hoping to bring in a new Coach O as the new DC. We're hoping to bring in Coach O. You don't want Coach O as the defensive coordinator.
You want him as a line coach, maybe?
Yeah, you want him as the defensive line coach. I don't think he's ever been a defense coordinator, has he?
Not that I know of.
Neither do
Does
I.
he know how to do that? I think he really just knows the trenches.
I think so. I think you're right.
To be honest, I don't think he actually knows that much about
football. I think he's. That's actually a good question. Is he a charismatic figure that knows how to recruit and motivate on the defensive lines and can coach really good defensive lines?
I would be so confident in saying that of all the SEC coaches, he knows the least about football.
I think that's fair.
I don't even think it's close.
I think that's fair. That's also why he will be unemployed or not a head coach at the end of the season. So
I mean, half of them are just like football savants.
I think who Dan Mullen brings in, if Dan Mullen is in fact still the head football coach at Florida, will be very, very interesting. We'll focus on that. We'll get into the schedule that will be this coming weekend. We'll look again a lot at what South Carolina has got going. Shane Beamer tonight right here on 107.5, the game when Carolina calls. You'll be able to hear that as Shane and the rest of his staff get ready to travel to Columbia, Missouri. I got to admit, 803-404-6100, it's as I maybe excited, as interested. I'm not sure what the adjective is to use for this particular game. Anxious maybe, because there's actually something on the game. Like, and I don't mean my financial stake, but there's actually, if South Carolina wins, they're bowl eligible, which I think I predicted. I went with you 5-7.
Well, you'd still be excited if they had lost to Florida last week, but it'd be a different type of excitement. You'd be saying, okay, probably our last good chance to win a game. But now that you've beaten Florida and crushed Florida, you feel like 7 wins isn't out of reach, and I think it's just a different type of excitement, because we knew, I guess, in the last month we've kind of just noticed that Missouri's actually a bad football team.
Right.
They're actually bad. So even if South Carolina lost by 18 to Florida, you'd be coming into this week saying, oh, okay, get right spot, one more chance, look good here, keep guys confident, and it'll probably not be good against Auburn, but then Clemson's bad. So you still legitimately have a chance to beat Clemson, but now you actually feel like, okay, bowl, and then you got Clemson.
True, but I also think that some of it is that South Carolina showed signs of life offensively last week. That everything that we talked about for 9 months leading up to the Eastern Illinois game about the run game being productive, and there's a lot of depth there, and Kevin Harris is this running back, and one thing that I meant to bring up yesterday that was said in the press conferences on Tuesday, and I never got around to it, that I thought was very interesting, Patrick, was Marshawn Lloyd talking about taking the brace off of his knee. Mm-hmm. And in recent weeks, the one thing, I didn't even take away much of Jason Brown's performance against Texas A&M, but I thought Marshawn Lloyd started to look a little bit better, just started to seem to gain a little bit of confidence. And we saw that last week with the 40-yard run. I think it was 7 carries for still about 46 yards last week. But the bottom line is he started to look like a different running back. And maybe to some because of Zaquandre White, because of Kevin Harris, you don't notice that quite as much. But Marshawn Lloyd looking a little bit different. But you saw signs of a running game last week. Jason Brown gives you new hope. You're right. I would probably sit here on a Thursday and be excited for the Missouri game. But this is a different feeling. And I think for a lot of Gamecock fans, when you see the offense perform the way it did last week, there's a level of anticipation where you say, can they carry that over? Was that just a speed bump in an otherwise mundane year where we're trying to rebuild, or was that the start of something?
Well, that in that sense, you're excited, but it's a nervous excitement. It's like a nervous anticipation, because if South Carolina runs for like 110 yards or something like that and loses the game,
right,
you're just gonna say, okay, well, the last weekend was all about Florida.
Right.
I always do that thing. This loss was more about the team. This game was more about the team that lost. This game was actually more about the team that won. And Shane Beamer, actually, one of the first things he said was, tonight was about South Carolina.
Right.
And we talked about it yesterday. The national narrative is that this is about Florida. And yes, Florida was a top 10 team. They just fired the defense coordinator. Their coach is on the hot seat. They played in the SEC championship last year. So when they lose a game to a team that has proven to be bad so far this year, nationally, it's going to be more about Florida. But if South Carolina beats Missouri, then South Carolina fans start to get a little more confidence, and they might get talked about a little bit in the SEC. People saying, okay, look at this. Shane Beamer, first year, he's eligible. He's bowl eligible. Because everybody likes Shane Beamer. All of the pundits want him to do well because they genuinely like him and think he's good for South Carolina. But if they go to a bowl game, that's something tangible that you can put behind the season, and that's big for everybody.
Well, you say everybody likes Shane Beamer. I think, and this is kind of weird to say, I'm not sure that all Gamecock fans liked Will Muschamp, even when he was
No.
making a bowl game in his
Yeah.
first, or even when he was going 9-4 in his second year. There was still that stigma of he couldn't get it done at Florida. Shane Beamer, I think you might be skeptical of the hire. Understandable. You might be someone out there saying we could have hired a lot better. But I find it hard to believe there are people out there that are actually, because I feel like there were people that were actually rooting against Will Muschamp.
Yes. Well, they were rooting for them to be right.
Right. With this one, I feel like everybody has seen Shane and is like, all right, we were rooting for him. You might not think it's going to work. There's two different levels of that.
Well,
You can
because from the national perspective, like I feel like sometimes when they talk about South Carolina and the SEC network, they say, "Oh yeah, Shane Beamer, what a great story, coach's son, coach of South Carolina before." Like, but they almost talk. It's almost talking down on the program. Like, oh, wouldn't that be so nice if South Carolina, if little old South Carolina got good again? Like, they just don't expect it to go well, but they just genuinely like Shane Beamer as a person. So this would actually change the narrative. Oh, okay, so we don't just like him; he's actually a good football coach too. And South Carolina actually has a relatively bright future.
Again, there's some actual excitement, and it involves South Carolina this year, the potential of getting back to a bowl game, even if it is. I think I forget what projection it was last night. I saw the Birmingham Bowl.
Gasparilla?
No, this was maybe the worst bowl matchup I've seen, and it brought me down a slight level, but it's still a bowl game. But it was the Birmingham Bowl against Texas San Antonio, UTSA.
Undefeated.
Yeah,
That would
yeah.
be imagine.
Yeah, that was not one. That was not one that I went to the Birmingham Bowl in 2000, and I think it was the 9 season, 2010. That's turned into more of a fun story than it was at the time for a lot of people, I think. But
How many bowls would actually be realistic for South Carolina?
depends on wins. We'll talk about it. Lee weighs in on
Like four. There's 4 different games they could land in.
Depends on
a larger spectrum.
I think 7 and 5 opens the door to maybe the Gator Bowl because of the way the SEC would do that, and I think that South Carolina fans would treadle.
You'd probably need 2 SEC teams in the college football playoff,
and they'll get that. Well, in the playoff, that's possible.
Because if Alabama doesn't make it, it just drops everyone one more.
Yeah, it drops one more, and yeah, you need that. Yeah, you're right. 7 and 5. The way the SEC now does bowls is weird and strange, and they allow actually the bowls because the bowls need to make money off of travel and whatnot. I know there was some complaints a couple years ago. I think it was in the year South Carolina, 2018. South Carolina got sent to the Belt Bowl. The Gator Bowl wanted them because they knew that South Carolina would travel, and they got Texas A&M instead. And sure enough, I think it was a kind of a down year for Texas A&M, and Texas A&M ended up thumping, I think, NC State down in that bowl game in the Gator Bowl. I want to say it was like 52-13, but they didn't travel very well. Obviously, bowl the Jacksonville area, you kind of count on that. So you never know, but it does open the door. 803-404-6100. Lee weighs in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. It's Tiger season. Would be nice to get 2 of the next 3 Tigers. Hope to see Bell in the game plan a little bit more. Newberry Chris weighing in this morning. All gave some gave all. Happy Veterans Day to past and present military. We appreciate your service. And he ends it with a go Tigers. I think he's referring to Auburn. That's okay. He says not Missouri. That's all right. And Ronnie weighs in. Good morning. Happy Veterans Day to Larry and all that have served and are serving. My son just started Navy boot camp last Thursday. Would like to give a shout out to him. Ronnie, thank you for that. And definitely a shout out to your son for starting Navy boot camp. And I agree. Happy Veterans Day to all out there that have served and are serving. It is the early game. We are out at the 24th annual L.C. Lucas Memorial Golf Tournament. Charwood Golf Club has allowed us to come back. Rock and Daniel Lucas are so I'm proud to be associated with them in the event that they continue to put on each and every year held out here at Charwood Golf Club in honor of Mr. Lucas, who is the founder of Charwood Country Club, did it in 1978. But most importantly, he is a World War II Navy veteran. So just like all veterans, we salute and honor him today. And again, if you're out there, if you're listening this morning and you're serving presently, or if you've served in the past, thank you. Thank you. I get a little again choked up because I've got family in the military and that we're veterans. And it means a lot that we can come in and be goofy and talk sports and cut up. And Jen can threaten me because of your service. We can do a stupid radio job each and every morning because you did something honorable and admirable and you defended our country, and I appreciate that. I hope everybody knows that. I know I speak for our radio program. So great way to start the morning here at Charwood. Glad to have everybody a part. Glad to have you on the live stream this morning. Join us, Matthew, LeVar, Craig, RL, Robin, all in on the Buford Lending live stream. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Oh, what a great weekend. Maybe you're taking a road trip to Missouri, and if so, you need a Chevrolet. I'm promising you need a reliable, dependable vehicle that can get you to where you are going, especially if it's Columbia, Missouri for a big road trip, or if it's just out here to Charwood today for the 24th annual LC Lucas Memorial Tournament. Love Chevrolet has got you taken care of. Still, your inventory leader, and great news, Love Chevy Silverados are back. I can testify a Silverado. I got a Tahoe, but a Silverado is a fantastic tailgating vehicle, and they are back in stock at Love Chevrolet. Also, you will not find ridiculous sticker add-ons unlike some dealerships have been doing. Love Chevrolet is not suddenly tacking on extra add-on prices to the price of their new cars to take advantage of their customers during this time of high demand. Go visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. You can get out there, whether it's the $1,000 low price guarantee, whether it is the incredible sales staff, or whatever it may be. 14 acres of brand new Chevys. Love Chevrolet should be your one-stop shop to visit when you're in the need of a new vehicle. Incredible certified pre-owned lot. Love Chevrolet has got you taken care of. And you know what? This is the best thing. They have been doing it for over 60 years, so you know they're the best in the business when you do it for that long. Go visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads. All right.
Yeah, does this thing not work if it's not plugged in?
Huh?
Does this thing not work if it's not plugged in?
No, it should. I was going to say, if you want behind you, I don't know what those things are plugged in behind you, but you want to unplug it for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, this thing lasts like 10 hours. At least.
All right. Good morning. Good morning to everybody.
All right, we got to talk to
Okay.
I think one of the afternoon guys unplugged our.
Oh, really?
Because they did it yesterday too. I don't know why they were using that, but.
Oh, RL, thank you for your service. Appreciate everybody. Carlton, I saw that earlier. Yeah, we'll get there. We got an issue back in. This is where we need an issue back in studio there.
Yeah, Jen, I think one of the afternoon guys might have unplugged the green auxiliary plug that's plugged into the thing. It should be. It's plugged into the back of the computer.
Okay.
In the studio, and just goes into that mic 2.
The mic 2. Okay. Let me go take a look. Yeah. So you're officially in the other one, huh?
All right, I'm going to put it in this fridge right now for now.
Okay.
I have to remember, I didn't realize y'all had the Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. I didn't just stop at the grocery store.
This month, I'm thankful for it's the only company I trust to give my home the best and most effective clean. Right now, get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $119 when you mention me. Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game online at ZeroRes.
Morning.
Hi, this is Adam Vance with Sound and Images. For almost 40 years, Sound and Images.
She understand? She went to go look at it.
Sound and Images friendly and experienced audio-visual teams can facilitate anything from a simple home office monitor upgrade to a wireless presentation and video conferencing system.
Okay, that's pretty much a wrap up hour number 1.
Commercial and more. Sound and Images is dedicated to adding and supporting technology into your space. That Sound and Images has.
Yeah, I stopped. I was like, I'll buy one of these. My stomach doesn't like get all messed up.
Taco Bell presents a get out of bedtime story. Even though you're jet skiing on lemonade, how and oh, look at that. You just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys. It's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your
What?
dreams. Because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you. Only.
Yes, you may.
It looks like on the mic amp that there are the two things plugged in a 1 and 2.
Then the only other thing was just if you go to cam mic and audio settings and just make sure the microphone is on line in, which it should be automatically.
Okay, let me just
I
double check
haven't
that then.
changed anything
Okay.
all week, so I don't know why it wouldn't be working now.
The only other option would be if Jen's mic is not connected. There's no other way to put anything in. That's the only one that could go in program
I guess we
3.
can FaceTime her from the studio and see what works. An hour.
Yeah. I guess I better pay attention since she's walking.
Well, she's got to turn it on anyway.
Huh?
She's not in there. She's got to turn this on.
It's true. What was I looking for? Oh, promos.
There's one. Okay, so in mic 2, it's a cord or it's a plug that has like an RCA plug that has a red around it.
It should be green.
Okay, that's what I thought you said, and that's why I'm not seeing that. But I also made sure that everything's unmuted. So as soon as we get back in, I will go back and look. So
It's on 3 right now. The mic 2.
Is mic 2 on 3?
In the studio, it's set to program 3 right now.
Let me make sure. That's
If you turn OpEx onto program 3 right now, would it play? Could we hear it in the speakers?
Something just came through.
No, that was me.
All right.
Yeah, I can't tell.
I can't hear anything because it should.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. Let me make sure that the mic input.
Yeah, I mean, we can like FaceTime at the end of the hour and look at it.
Okay.
I don't know why it doesn't do it automatically. It hasn't every time I've logged in. It's just been automatically set that way. So something must have happened yesterday.
Okay. I'll go take another peek as soon as I get you guys in. Probably need to break by about 42.
Okay. Cool. We're fine.
You guys are up.
803-404-6100. How you can hear us at 6, or how you can join us at 6:35 on a Thursday morning. Hope you're doing well out there. Happy Veterans Day to everyone, especially the veterans serving or that have served in the past. Again, we're very appreciative of your service. Bill Gunner, Patrick Brett, we are out here for the 24th annual L.C. Lucas Memorial Tournament at Charwood Golf Club, honoring both Mr. Lucas and Veterans Day. If you want to stop by, even if you're not in the tournament, you can stop by and say hello this morning if you're in the area. Might even let you get on air a little bit. And you can join us, of course, on the Buford Lending live stream. 803-404-6100 again is how you can join us. Anonymous text weighs in. It says Shane Beamer is focused. He wants to win. He is the right coach. I believe it. And Patrick, that's going to be the key thing for the weekend is focus. And it's another chance to learn about Shane Beamer. It's another chance to learn about how he handled. We know that he's a positive guy, and there's no doubt that coming off of last weekend in which you had the most positive performance to date for his football program, something that you can truly build on. Doesn't matter what Florida is or what they may end up being when you can beat a brand name school like Florida. And yeah, they're not a national title contender this year. They're not an SEC East contender, but it's something you can hang your hat on.
They're one of the same this year.
Okay, it's true. But at the end of the day, this is something South Carolina can try to build upon. How do they look on Thursday, or how do they look on Saturday as we sit here on Thursday going into that game? What will they look like in a late afternoon game against Missouri, who is struggling big time this year?
Yeah, like, are people worried about South Carolina getting too full of themselves? Because I guess that's a genuine concern. It could be a letdown spot after a big emotional win with the week off and 2 weeks to prepare for Florida, and now you turn around and you play a Missouri team that just got their butts kicked and they're motivated to get back home. That game was in Georgia, right? Yeah, that game was in Georgia. So they're motivated to get back home and put that behind them and get a big win. So arguably the greatest thing about Nick Saban is the consistency and the fact that his teams never really have letdown spots. I guess you could call Texas A&M a letdown spot this year, but A&M just played a great game and Kansas didn't go Alabama's way that one day, so it was a major rarity. But just not letting the team get too cocky for better lack of better words, like, because he gets super animated, he loves it. He's probably out there pumping the guys up in practice, showing them their highlights in film, and like he's not gonna be the guy that comes in on Monday and says nice win, but we're focused on Missouri. He wants to let them enjoy the win.
Well, I think there's a lot of Gamecock fans, and count me in this, that have seen this movie play out where you get the big win and you follow it up with the devastating. Last year, you beat Auburn. Hey, at least there's one Gamecock fan out there, and he's got his hat on backwards, and you can see him on the live stream right now talking into the mic, who last year thought that the win against Auburn was the sign that Will Musch even close to the case. But it also turned out that you went to LSU and you allowed a freshman quarterback to look like a Heisman Trophy contender against you. A couple years ago, again, the win over Georgia is followed up by a loss to Florida. And, there's a bunch of things we can point to in that particular game, the loss to Florida, and say, well, it didn't go this way, it didn't go that way. South Carolina fans have seen that. This, though, you saw an offense that looked like a college football offense. You saw a quarterback that didn't put the ball in jeopardy and made some nice plays with his legs to escape trouble. You saw a run game that you had been anticipating for 9 months, 10 months, I guess, going into October, and everything seemed to click. We all think that the defense is playing better than we anticipated. So with all that being said, it feels like, hey, maybe they did turn a corner, but you have to back it up. You have to, even if it is a bad Missouri team that's probably not going to go to a bowl game, you have to back it up because
it's a bad Missouri team that's not going to go to a bowl game. That's why you need to do it.
Well, and I think there's also an element, Patrick, of Missouri's been really bad against the run.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like South Carolina does well. You're not asking Jason Brown to go out and throw it 35 times on Saturday afternoon and sling it all through the air and throw for 300 yards. If he does, hey, that's awesome. That's great. That shows that you have another element to your offense. But the bottom line is what Missouri does not do well, it looks like you've formulated your offense during the bye week to do well. We saw a lot more Trey Jones at fullback last week. It's going to be very agitating to fans on Saturday afternoon at about 7:30 if you have not seen, I'd say, close to 15 to 20 run plays that involve Trey Jones and as a lead blocker, because that seemed to work very well in multiple situations.
Well, unless it just – because I actually do kind of think that they can just go out there and even if Trey Jones isn't out there, even if they're not doing the 12, 22 personnel, 2 tight ends, just running – I think they can kind of just line up, play football, and run at this Missouri defense. Like, I do think the Missouri offensive line or defensive line is just kind of that bad right now. So, I mean, if it works and you just save if the Trey Jones thing was just like, we're going to pull this out for Florida, we got something special. We've noticed that they're susceptible to this on defense. Because I think who else got Florida like bad in the run game? I saw some sort of breakdown that said like this is what Florida is bad at.
Well, LSU obviously
that's
ripped them.
what it
Was
was,
it? It was the kid's name ran out. I forget. For
Tyrion Davis-Price.
Yeah, for 284 yards in that game, and it was the counter. It was the counter
so
play.
that's what they were talking about. The counter was killing Florida. That's what they were susceptible to. So maybe that's not what is going to get Missouri. Like I think Missouri might be a three-man front defense, and that might be. I'll watch a little Missouri today and figure it out. But yeah, I mean, just be successful. If you have to adjust the run game scheme, I guess that would probably annoy people because you had 8 weeks to do it before Florida, and it never really worked. And then you finally unlock something, and then you go away from it. I can see how that would be annoying, but I kind of think that against this team, it doesn't matter. Just run it down their throat. Just find a way to be successful, no matter what it is.
803-404-6100 is how you can join us this morning. Larry weighs in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. He says, prayers up for all the veterans and their families, including my son Dustin. Coach Beamer is the definition of no I in team. I think he has one of the best coaching staffs in the past 20 years. How do you compare the coaching staff? We'll see. We'll talk more about that. We'll get into the coaching staff again. 9 games in, long way to go, but certainly a lot will be told over these next 3 games. Because if you probably rank the teams in order, Missouri's bad, Clemson's pretty bad, but then Auburn's an average team. So you look at really, quite frankly, this is a chance for this coaching staff to prove themselves against at least 2 teams in Clemson and Missouri who are on South Carolina's level this year, and then Auburn, who's until last week I thought was a little bit better. So we'll get a better feeling of the coaching staff. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
More of the early game coming up on 107.5 The Game.
Excited to be out here. Actually, between that and the little energy drink I've already had, and then behind the energy drink, I've actually got a Monster Energy. So I'm pretty excited this morning. But it all starts with a great night of sleep. You don't get a great night of sleep, you're basically playing from behind all day long. You don't want to play from behind. You need a great night of sleep to get your day started correctly. I put that sleep number setting on 45 last night. Got a fantastic night of sleep. Also, actually helped that I went to bed probably at like 8 p.m. Was basically acting like a very old person and going to bed about as early as you could go. Right now, with a sleep number bed, though, you can get a great night of sleep each and every night. Proven quality sleep is indeed life-changing sleep. Don't miss Sleep Number's Veterans Day weekend sale, where you can save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed plus free premium home delivery when you add a base. But this deal ends Monday, November 15th. Don't wait for it to end and then try to go shopping for a Sleep Number bed. Go visit Sleep Number this weekend. 2 stores to choose from. One in Irmo on Harbison Boulevard across from Buffalo Wild Wings. The other in Columbia, 2 Notch Road across from Sand Hills Mall. You can visit them on the web, sleepnumber.com. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. And right now, the Veterans Day weekend sale is ongoing, where you can save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed plus free premium home delivery when you add a base. But again, it ends Monday, November 15th. Make the switch to Sleep Number today and find out what a great night of sleep is truly like.
Clear. From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
How you doing?
ShepherdsGlass.com. We do have a report of an incident, Brevard Street near Broad River Road. Again, that's Brevard Street near Broad River Road. There is an accident there. Other than that, things moving along fairly well this morning, and we are definitely happy about that. Might see some rain coming in this afternoon, 74 for the high, 75 tomorrow. It's fair and 47 right now. 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal Employee Program. At the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal Employee Program, they cover more federal employees.
We've come there a couple times, actually.
Now it's time to see what they can do.
Maybe what, like our 5th time there?
5th or 6th time, yeah. We've come out here we come out here for tournaments.
Yeah, it's fun here. You helping out with the tournament?
You gotta go to school this morning? Yeah. I was gonna say, I don't think y'all have a day off.
That's not a day off of school. It is a
No.
bank holiday. I got paid a day early. That was nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. The banks are closed today.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah, I told Rock yesterday. I was like, man, I got to be careful. My knee. I just don't want to continue to injure it. It feels a lot better this morning.
You're playing?
I was going to, but he got a fourth, so I'm going to kind of hang out and ride around and I'd already taken the day off. Oh, Patrick's going on a journey. Monster energy drink, and I'll be good to go.
Nice.
Morning to Trey, Chuck. Hope everybody's doing well. Thursday, basically today, and then we'll do Donut Friday tomorrow in the studio.
And then I will drive the truck. We're not on right now.
Okay. I was like, crap, I can't come over there now.
Okay.
Oh no, you're fine.
You know, the mirror keeps telling me that every morning I wake up.
That's the best kind of mirror.
Yeah, I've been kind of thinking about tomorrow, and I'm basically just probably gonna go right to Charlotte early and
Got right after the show.
all right, so I'll go home and pack, and then get there because my flight's not till 4:30. But after being up all night,
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard to sleep.
yeah.
I'll have to leave by like.
You'll have energy. What kind of?
It's a couple of things. So one, I'm gonna park at a hotel which has shuttles, but the shuttles are only every hour at the bottom of the hour. So if I wait till 3, I guess I could get there at 3.
Where are y'all flying into?
St. Louis.
Y'all staying there, or you driving up to Columbia? You could have them. I mean, I would time it out. What time is the flight?
4:30.
Oh, in the afternoon.
That's when you're leaving Charlotte?
Yeah.
Okay. As I say, because my connecting flight is through St. Louis, but my flight leaves Charlotte at like 2:30. So, as I say, I'd let him buy me a drink in the airport.
Well, I might get to the airport really early. I guess it wouldn't be necessarily responsible to just buy a bunch of drinks at the airport.
While expensive, airport drinks are up there with some of the most fun because you're generally speaking, not all the time, but you're going somewhere on a fun trip, and so like there's an excitement about purchasing that first or second drink.
I got a dozen raw oysters at the Charlotte airport and 2 beers, and I think it was like $40.
We got when I went to Vegas a couple weeks ago, I bought that. We had a deal, like there was 4 of us, so like I would buy the first tab, somebody buy the second tab. So now you got to time it out. If I learned this from my good buddy Jim Thompson and Tracy Corley. Tracy Corley and Jim Thompson taught me the trick. If you do that, always buy the first one of the day. Always buy the first tab because there's not as many drinks.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get stuck with the 4th tab late in the evening,
People are drinking more.
People are drinking more. So I bought the first one. We were at the airport, but all we had was one of them got some wings. 2 of them split a pizza. I had already been doing the show and eating donuts that morning and something else. I had eaten. I was good. So I just had like 2 drinks or 3 drinks. I just had my bourbon and Sprites because we were in the airport. 2 of them were drinking Long Island iced teas. And the Charlotte airport that little place in the little terminal was very proud of their Long Island iced teas.
Like Holiday Inns don't have bars, right?
Some do, not all. Wow.
Because that's where I'm gonna probably park.
Some do. I would go ahead and check into the airport. There's a couple good little bar places.
Well, but if I can,
and if you get up there, at 1 o'clock, it's gonna take you 30 to 45 minutes to get through TSA. Dude, I got hooked on a locked up abroad binger yesterday.
Uh-oh.
That show, I don't know why it brings out the emotions in me the way it does. Like first, I get very anxious that they're going to get arrested in the terminal. Which again, the show's called Locked Up Abroad. They get locked up,
We're heading
but
back
I'm like,
in.
are they going to make it through? Is this person going to make it through? Then they get locked up, and then you're like, oh, I'm sure prison can't be that bad. And they're all in South American prisons, which are.
Awful.
And then third, they come out. Now they've been the one smuggling the drugs, but they come out of prison. You're like, oh, I'm so happy for them, even though it's not like they got framed for it. They did the.
Okay.
About that last night, I was like, what is wrong with me watching that show? Because at the end, you feel bad for them.
I see that. All right, guys, rip.
$6:51 on a Thursday morning. Hope you're doing well. Good news. Rock Lucas was here at 5:45 this morning to let Patrick and I in. So we are warm and comfy inside of the Charwood Golf Club clubhouse here, enjoying a wonderful time at the 24th annual LC Lucas Memorial Golf Tournament. You can come out and hang out for a little while. The tournament is filled up, but you can come by, say hello to us, say hello to Rock and Daniel Lucas. And again, it is the 24th annual LC Lucas Memorial Tournament. Mr. Lucas opened Charwood Country Club in 1978, and they have held the tournament on Veterans Day to honor our vets, as well as Mr. L.C. Lucas, who was a World War II Navy veteran. After his death in 1998, the Lucas family established Charwood for those in need. Last year, the tournament raised over $10,000. You can still help today by giving Charwood a call if you'd like to donate toward the charity, or if you'd like to donate towards the tournament. The phone number 803-755-2000 for more information. Again, big thank you to Rock and Daniel Lucas for including Patrick, Jen, and myself in the tournament again this year. I was going to play with Rock, and then I was a last minute scratch yesterday. I'm still, the meniscus in the knee is still torn. I'm not completely healthy, and I didn't want Rock to be angry at me if I did not perform to the best of my abilities today. You know how that is.
One-handed and not put any pressure on that.
No, it's my knee. I could swing with both hands. I could swing with both hands.
But if you do that, you're naturally gonna want to use your torso. I'm saying you need like a cane or something on one hand and then just swing with the other.
I've played recently with the knee injury. I just got it. I kept thinking it was going to. I tend to think I'm a younger person, and younger people are usually pretty not smart when it comes to dealing with injuries. I don't go racing off to the doctor, and so I thought that this would heal, only to find out a few weeks ago it was a torn meniscus, and now I'm just putting off surgery as long as I possibly can. We'll talk more Gamecock football. We will look at the weekend that will be coming up this coming weekend. What games are out there that we like? Coming up at 7:45, Dr. Grabowski from Prisma Health Orthopedic. 8:20 this morning, Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider. And 8:45, Kerry Tharp presents me with my NASCAR Pick'em trophy while Jen Jensen listens intently. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Is your speaker on?
Yeah, but I can turn it off. All right.
I did not. I didn't hear any audio coming out of this early game feed still, so I don't know what's going on.
Do you want me to call? Wow, what is that?
Yeah. Let's do a quick FaceTime and just show me what it looks like in there. All right.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, Patrick and Jen are working hard behind the scenes to
Is that one going to the computer?
get y'all all
There are
taken.
two of them. It is. Okay. Yeah. What's on that mic right there? Or what's the program set to?
Up on the board.
Yeah. It is set to program one. It's not playing out there. All right, so on the StreamYard right there, on audio settings for the early game one. Yeah. How do you do it? Oh, cam mic down at the bottom where the mute is and all that. Cam mic.
Sure can.
Yeah. Audio. Does it say line in? Yeah, it does say line in. What are the other options? Or for audio, where it says default line in. That's all it is, right? Try the bottom one.
I was wondering. That wouldn't technically default. Unless you made it default.
Yeah. But it's on program one, so we should be hearing commercials right now.
Morning, how you doing?
And what's the other one? It's also a line in. Communications line in, real tech. I guess try the second one too.
She checked the control audio and looked to make sure that something didn't get reset. Did she log in under? She logged in under your name.
Yeah.
I did.
Did she check like the mic setting in the control panel to make sure that hadn't been reset because they unplugged it? You know what I'm saying? Where
in the control panel, that's a whole thing too. I guess that would be in settings.
I was saying, I wonder, should I reboot it because now there's something else?
No, if they unplugged
if you
it,
go to the search bar or the home page, the like bottom left on the computer, not in a StreamYard, and just like search control panel.
that's the only other thing it could be is that it should have been on that. It defaulted back to the regular one.
I don't know why it would do that.
If it just
I had to do it yesterday too. What was it under? Is there one that says audio somewhere? Let's see. I actually have the same thing. I'll look at it. Oh, sound? Oh, CBS.
Just thought about that. Still can't believe they can't get this to record. This is so silly. We have to manually do this every day. Okay.
What'd she do?
It was the CBS thing.
Oh.
Okay.
It's something like sounds and
then what?
do you remember what it was, bro? I thought it was like sound, maybe.
I mean,
Is there a mic thing there?
There's an input.
Yeah, what's that? What are the other options? That's the only one.
Only one. Well,
It's line in, right? That's all it should be, right?
yeah, put his line in. Yeah.
well, it's picking up something.
Yeah.
What is it picking up? Oh, that's her phone. Well, that's her phone. That's what I'm talking right now.
Yeah.
But where is it? That means it's picking up.
But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't pick up anything.
But what is picking it up? Like for that to pick it up means the mic has to be. Is the mic on, Jen?
Yeah, said the mic is not on.
Turn mic 2 on. I don't think that shouldn't do anything.
That's true. You have had mic 2 on.
I haven't had it on.
But wait a minute, mic 3
No, Mike 2.
That's
a good point because Patrick's been on Mike 1, and we've had Mike 2 as the Mike 2 as the that's the difference. I'm telling you. Mike 2 is because you've been using Mike 1. Mike 2 is the one that we've just been keeping in program.
But I have it in program 1, and it's plugged into that, so it just automatically plays whatever's coming out of program 1. So I should be hearing commercials right now.
Yeah, actually, the mic 2 would have anything to do with program 3.
Yeah, let me see the plugs again. I don't know why it was unplugged. The green one was unplugged.
It was.
There's only one place for it to get plugged in, right?
I mean, yeah, there's mic 1 and mic 2. Like one. I've got it in 2 right now.
What's the other? Look to the left. How far away is the other one? Is that the one that's always plugged into? Maybe.
There's one over here. Is it usually in this one where your headphones are plugged in?
Maybe try the other one. That actually might be it. I think that is what it is. Does anything?
Basketball, 6th-ranked Michigan opens its season with an 88-76 win over Buffalo. I'm Bob Usler.
What'd you do?
It was. Yeah, it's everything. Okay.
CBS Sports Radio.
Yeah, sweet. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What was it?
It was just plugged into the wrong port. All right, so now I will just mute our mics here when the show starts, and we'll just run all through this early game because it'll play program 1. So right now it's playing
Extraordinaire, Jen Jensen.
Yep, that's coming through.
The coffee is brewed, the donuts are fresh. It's time for the early game
Hey, will you guys let me know if this ever airs?
on 107.5 The Game.
.703 on a Thursday morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette, Jen Jensen getting you through here on the early game coming up in about 42 minutes. Dr. Grabowski will join us. Dr. Greg Grabowski will join us from the Prisma Health Orthopedic. He is a spine surgeon. We'll catch up on some back injuries, especially as it pertains to football and coming down the stretch. 8:20 this morning. Vegas Insider, MajorWager.com's Brian Edwards, who we, I think, deemed to go 2-3 last week in his picks, will join us to give his picks for the weekend. And then at 8:45 this morning, Darlington Raceway President Kerry Tharp joins us one final time this year before we get set for a little bit of off-season, Jen. And then before you know it, it'll be Daytona in, what is it? That's early February, correct? That's right around Valentine's Day.
That would be our guru, Bill Gunter.
You know what's sad? If I picked football games the way I picked NASCAR races, I wouldn't have to do this job.
No.
I could just live at a sports book in Vegas and just live an interesting life. But yeah, my NASCAR, for someone who really, 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 I mean, I grasp it. I do. Jen, in the last 3 years,
try to drive faster.
Well, I have picked up on NASCAR a little bit more. It was interesting. I've actually sat down, especially more when it's warmer, and I say that like in August and July, when I'm limited on a Sunday afternoon to golf, NASCAR, or a Major League Baseball game. And Jen has needled me throughout the week, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch a little bit. I've picked up on some driving stuff, and I've learned a little bit. It's kind of like hockey. Like the more I've gotten into it, and now I have ESPN Plus, which has the majority of the hockey games. I've learned more about hockey, but I've picked up a little bit. But yes, I once again win the NASCAR Pick'em Championship, despite being the least knowledgeable of. I am more knowledgeable than Reggie Anderson. I'm never going to give up that title. I'm never Reggie. And Reggie has no leg to stand on that one because I think he's finished. I continuously win. Reggie continuously finishes 4th, and you and Kerry alternate 2nd and 3rd places.
But also keep in mind, he picks 4th. So
I picked 3rd.
Okay.
I picked 3rd. Jim.
Yeah.
It's not like I have
one more.
It's not like I have a built-in advantage on y'all each and every week.
Other than you just are lucky.
Yeah, that's big. That's how I would have when I was out in Vegas a couple weeks ago. That's exactly what I would have said about myself on about Sunday afternoon. Is man, I am one lucky. The dealer at the blackjack table while she was taking my chips was like, "Sir, you're so lucky."
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's not what she said. Just owning me. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning if you'd like to. Bill Gunner and Patrick Pratt. We are out at Charwood Golf Club. Big thank you to everyone here at Charwood, especially Rock Lucas for being here on time this morning to let us in. I was a little worried. I've known Rock. I know Rock. I believe in Rock. I wasn't sure though about the 6 a.m. start time, but he was here at 5:45. Patrick and I were able to get in and get set up. And again, we appreciate everyone here at Charwood for once again hosting us, bringing us back. We love this golf course. We love Rock and Daniel. We appreciate them and our partnership with them. And again, today is the 24th annual L.C. Lucas Memorial Tournament held out here at Charwood Golf Club, honoring not only Mr. L.C. Lucas, who is the founder of Charwood Country Club in 1978, but they also honor all the veterans today on this awesome, awesome day for our country. Mr. Lucas himself, Mr. L.C. Lucas, was a World War II Navy veteran. We've already spoken with Gamecock Larry this morning, and again, we send our thank you. Whether you're currently serving, whether you have served, we appreciate your service here today on Veterans Day, and thrilled, Patrick, to be back out here on a special day for our country, for a lot of people who have laid it all on the line for us to be allowed to come out here on a Thursday and play golf and talk about silly things like South Carolina going to a bowl game when there are far more important things in the world that they have laid their life on the line for.
Yeah, and I come from a Navy family, being from Maryland. So, I mean, like, my Uncle Bill was in the Navy. My cousin Kathleen is currently in San Diego. She's a naval doctor. Met her husband at the Naval Academy. He's been on subs for the past, 10 years probably. So just their relationship, they got married right out of college, and one of them has been out of the country. Like my I guess married in. What do you call someone that's married in as your cousin? Justin. In-law. My cousin-in-law, I guess, has basically spent 6 to 8 months out of every year on the subs, and his kids are like 10 years old now. So I know what it's like having to be away from the family because of that. And my brother's Navy ROTC right now, so he'll be there in a couple of years. So definitely appreciate it. And yeah, it's a special day. And we're exactly 1 month, December 11th, from one of the best sports days of the year, Army-Navy game.
Okay, there is. Yep, that is true as well. 803-404-6100 is how you can join us this morning. You can also check us out on the Buford Lending live stream as well. Some beautiful pictures of Patrick and myself and Jen here as we are all in different spots this morning. But we're getting you ready for a football weekend. We've had MAC football throughout the week. Tonight, we've got a little ACC action. North Carolina traveling to Pittsburgh, 7:30 on ESPN. Actually, for a person, and we've discussed this a couple times, that has grown up on fun Thursday night games and has been limited in those Thursday night games. North Carolina and Sam Howell versus Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh. It's actually a battle of two quarterbacks that will go to the NFL at some point. I don't know if Sam Howell will go this year.
He'll probably go this year.
You think he leaves this year?
Yeah, he's not necessarily a lock to be a first rounder, but it's not a good quarterback group. He'd be well served to just go this year.
So Sam Howell and North Carolina coming off of the big win over Wake Forest over the weekend, 58-55. They knocked off at that point number 9th ranked Wake Forest to basically eliminate them from any discussion. There at least had been some discussion about Wake Forest finding their way into the college football playoff. That conversation ended in a flurry of points there on Saturday afternoon, 58-55. So tonight, North Carolina and Pittsburgh. Your NFL game tonight, Baltimore traveling down to Miami. I believe Tua is he unavailable or is he questionable? I saw I
thought he's out. I think it's a Jacoby Brissett game.
Okay, it is a Jacoby Brissett game. So we've got that. So that's your two major games tonight. Baltimore at Miami is your NFL game. North Carolina at Pittsburgh. So not a bad night of football, Patrick. Also with Baltimore and Lamar Jackson making the trip.
This is one of those weird Thursdays. I'm far more intrigued by the college game.
Okay.
I'm normally an NFL guy, but Thursday Night Football is also probably the worst product the NFL has consistently. That's why it was such an amazing thing. The Cardinals-Packers game a couple weeks ago where you actually had two really good teams, because realistically, the Ravens are going to destroy the Dolphins. The Dolphins are so bad right now, and they're even worse with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. So I can't imagine that will be a close game. Baltimore is as hot as anyone in football right now, playing as well as anyone in football. Lamar Jackson's been unreal recently. Completely changed the narrative on him as a quarterback because everyone was saying that he can't come back. He's had 3 huge comebacks this year, comeback wins, and they're just red hot. Put the injuries behind them, and they've got to be one of, if not the favorite coming out of the AFC. So not super intrigued by that game. Very intrigued by the matchup of they're probably both in the first. They're both going to be in the first round conversation. Maybe the way they finish their season and kind of perform in the pre-draft process and at the combine and all that stuff. Sam Howell and Kenny Pickett, both super talented, huge arms, each of them. Sam Howell's probably a little bit more raw. Kenny Pickett made the decision to come back to school. His stock has shot up this year, so it was clearly a good decision on his part. I assume Pittsburgh's favorite in the game. I haven't even looked at the line.
Yep, I was just glancing at both of them. Pittsburgh tonight is a 6.5 point favorite over North Carolina. Over under is up there again, 73 to 72.5, depending on where you look at. Circa Sportsbook with 72.5, Caesar Sportsbook at 73. Tonight, Baltimore is a 6.5 point favorite to a 7.5 point favorite. Actually, most of them have them now up to 7.5. It opened at 6.5. 7.5 point favorite over Miami. Over-unders at 46.5. One just note, I don't think this impacts tonight's game. Lamar Jackson, because he's playing on a Thursday night game, will return to Louisville this coming weekend where they will retire his jersey. So just something for, I don't know. I would imagine you want to have a great night tonight to be able to go back to your home, your alma mater. He is from the state of Florida. Louisville?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Well, we're going to look at the college schedule.
Is he the
here
greatest Louisville Cardinal of all time?
Johnny Unitas has probably got to be.
Lamar won the Heisman, though.
Lamar did win the Heisman.
And you know what? Lamar's probably better playing quarterback than Johnny Unitas was. Old people listening right now are probably going to be upset, but I guarantee you Lamar's a better arm than Johnny Unitas. Guarantee it.
803-40.
They play Syracuse.
803-404-6100. An old school Big East matchup. I believe.
And you want to bet Syracuse because Syracuse is number 1 in the country against the spread this year.
Look at that. We'll talk more about that. We'll get into the weekend schedule. That will be, if you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. Kentucky Joe weighing in earlier. He says South Carolina should be able to run wild on Missouri. Super happy for the fans, the coaches, the players, everyone deserved the win against Florida last weekend. And then he says a sincere thank you to all the veterans. Without the sacrifice of those individuals, we would not be the greatest country. Prayers to those no longer with us. Amen, Kentucky Joe. Again, thank you to all the veterans today on this wonderful day. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette out here at Charwood Golf Club for the 24th annual L.C. Lucas Memorial Golf Tournament, not only honoring Mr. Lucas himself, but veterans as well. Jen Jensen's holding the fort down in the studio. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Head women's basketball coach Dawn Staley, and you're listening to the home of the Gamecocks, WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, the true reflection of quality. Shepherd'sGlass.com.
We don't. Did you see it?
No, I've not got. Where is that at?
Oh, she just texted. Oh, she just texted me. I think she just went to. Sorry.
What
She
do we
just
got?
went to our conversation. 710, 740, 810, 840.
Oh, she must have just realized that I was supposed to do so. Nothing at 740.
You have this. She's going to realize here in a second that she only sent that to me.
I think she realized it.
Yeah, Jen, do you see you just sent that to me?
November 24th.
That's no problem. It doesn't look like we have anything at 840.
740?
Excuse me, 740.
Yeah, you do know.
So I can
So you never miss a moment of the game.
We'll have you do zero res at the end of the break after Carolina Golden Apparel, but I'll give you a heads up.
Yeah, you only text Patrick. You didn't text me. So that's why I was starting
At
to look
Discount
to see.
Tire, we take pride in making your experience
That's
with
no
us
problem.
as easy as possible.
When do you want me to
Discount
do it?
Tire. Let's get you taken care
I
of.
accidentally sent it just to Patrick, so I'll send it to you.
You see it all the time. Bad calls, poor execution. In sports, teams need changes. But I'm not talking about your favorite sports team. I'm Brian Pierce. As an executive director of the John Maxwell team, I'm certified to facilitate, speak, train, and coach groups in the area of leadership development, professional skills, and personal growth. I'm equipped with the tools and resources and the experience to help your team improve your performance.
There you go. So yeah, Bill, at the end of the break, after Carolina Golden Apparel, I'll give you a heads up like a minute.
How long away from that?
It's a longer stop set. Like about 6.5, 7. Not my favorite, but I know with interviews, trying to kind of make it work.
Did you find out where game day is this week? Did we look at that?
I did. It's in Oxford, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. Read that.
Yeah, that's an on-air text.
Oh, the long. Huh?
That's an on-air text.
I agree, Craig. I agree. I'm just riding around and hanging out today. I'm just basically enjoying the day. I have started the weekend. Doing a radio show is not work, so I slept last night. I didn't drink last night. I went and bought a bottle of Jefferson's on Monday, and drank a little bit Monday night. But tonight will be a Jefferson's. Patrick and I will hold down the fort. Jen's out tomorrow. She's heading home for the weekend. We're allowing the current daughter in the studio to travel.
Hey, I need travel money, Dad.
Huh? Move that. Yeah, I can hear you. I just had this headphone on.
I said I need travel money, Dad.
Travel money. No. Get a job.
That's true.
Get a job.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Patrick and I will do donuts, and then I got really nothing to do tomorrow. I'll swing by my other office for a minute. Get the kids from school. Can't believe the daughter is quarantined again because she came in contact with somebody at school. I can't believe we're still doing this. And I can't believe incubation period or whatever, if she's not sick, is
2 weeks.
I guess it's a week actually, because they found out yesterday. So today's the first day she's not at school. Oh, it's a good week, Craig. Buffalo. I need to go. I might swing
Okay,
by.
hey, Bill, we're about ready for you.
What?
You're
About
up.
ready for your
Let's
spot.
do it. Carolina Golden Apparel, last spot.
All right, you're up.
That time of the year, you hear me talking about it, where the family is likely coming over in the next few weeks, probably for Thanksgiving. That generally is when the family makes an appearance, whether you invited them or not. They show up at your house. They expect turkey. They expect stuffing. Maybe they expect sweet potatoes as well. Whatever they may expect, they're probably going to make a mess in your house, probably on your rug or your carpet. Whatever they do, it's time to call Zero Res and book that post-Thanksgiving cleaning to get your house back in shape for Christmas. You can give them a phone call today, 803-262-4020, or you can book online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res cleans with patented technology that uses high pH electrolyzed water, not harsh chemicals, and no sticky, soapy residue will be left behind. I can testify to that. Zero Res was out at my house just a few weeks ago, cleaned the rug that I have there in my living room, cleaned the tiles out in the sunroom, I actually did a fantastic job. I know that people think we just say this kind of stuff. You should have seen the tile in the kitchen that they cleaned. It looked like it was brand new, all because of the ZR water technology that is absolutely incredible, scientifically proven to get your carpet, rugs, tile, and upholstery insanely clean. Call Zero Res today, 803-262-4020. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $119 when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 1075 The Game. Again, that is 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $119 when you mention my name, Bill Gunner, at 1075 The Game. Give Zero Res a call today, 803-262-4020, or book online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Hop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. And now, back to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Coming up in about, let's see here, in about 20 minutes, we will catch up with Dr. Greg Grabowski of Prisma Health Orthopedic, talk about a little bit of spine surgery, some injuries across college football that may be affecting players and regarding their back. Certainly something that as we close out the season is something important to discuss. In about an hour from now, Vegas D. Edwards on Twitter, also known as Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider and MajorWager.com, will join us to give his picks for the week. And at 8:45 this morning, Kerry Tharp joins us to wrap up the NASCAR season. That is the president of Darlington Raceway, Kerry Tharp. Patrick Perrette, Bill Gunner, we are out here live at Charwood Golf Club today for the 24th annual L.C. Lucas Memorial Tournament held in honor of Mr. Lucas as well as veterans. Mr. Lucas himself was a World War II Navy veteran, and the tournament held in honor of him. If you want to donate to the Charwood charity, last year they raised over $10,000. You can still give them a phone call today. The charity goes to people in need. They want to provide for those who are in need, and that is exactly what they did last year, raising over $10,000. You can still donate today. Call 803-755-2000 for more information. Again, we are out here today hanging out with the great folks at Charwood Golf Club. Tomorrow, 4 to 7 p.m., you can go visit with Heath Klein. Why would you not want to go hang out with Heath Klein at Craft and Draft in Irmo? Tomorrow, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., T-Mobile and the Game teaming up every Friday in November for free giveaways. Appetizers, free appetizers is the key word there, from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. You can also register to win a $250 gift card to Garnet and Black Traditions, all thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. No purchase necessary, must be 18 or over. See site for details. Void where prohibited. Heath Klein again tomorrow. Craft and Draft in Irmo, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., where you can go and hang out with the one, the only Heath Klein. Tomorrow is Friday, so when I mess up here in a minute, please realize I just get excited for college football, and I'm going to mess up in a minute. I can all but guarantee it. I've done it every week when I start talking about the weekend schedule on a Thursday, and I start telling you about games tomorrow. It is Thursday. I'm well aware it's Thursday. Tonight, North Carolina and Pittsburgh play each other at Pittsburgh, 7:30 ESPN. Tomorrow night, tomorrow night, Cincinnati at South Florida, Wyoming at Boise State. The Cincinnati at South Florida game, an early game, 6 p.m. on ESPN2 that you can watch. Let's get into a little bit of the weekend schedule that will be. Patrick, actually some pretty entertaining noon games just to kind of keep an eye on Saturday afternoon. Michigan at Penn State, a noon game on ABC. Penn State not ranked, but this is a test for number 6 Michigan, who's right there in the hunt for one of those playoff spots. If they can run the table out, beat Ohio State, and win the Big Ten championship, Michigan will be in the college football playoff if they indeed do that. They control their own destiny.
Yeah, and Penn State kind of gets up for big games, I feel like James Franklin's kind of a big game coach. 1.5 points for Michigan on the road pretty much just shows you that Vegas feels like it's borderline a pick 'em. It might be a pick 'em by the time it gets going, but I feel like Michigan is a substantially better team. I still don't like Sean Clifford. I don't think he's good. I think he's careless and reckless. But Penn State's really good. Jahan Dotson is one of the most exciting players in the country. He'll probably be a first-round pick. Penn State's got some ballers. I do lean Michigan in this one, though. Penn State's not ranked, but they got to be right there on the outside. This can basically be treated as a ranked matchup, and there are 4 ranked matchups this week. But this one's actually more intriguing than probably a couple of them.
This one, Penn State is.
I guarantee you this gets more viewers than. This is a better game than Ohio State Purdue, right? Maybe.
Penn State was, correct me if I'm wrong as I say this out loud, Penn State was a top 10 team, 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? When did they play? They played when they went on the road to Iowa? No, when they went on the road to Iowa, and it was a top 10. It was 4 versus 5. Does that seem right? Does that seem about? Look at that.
Right. I'll check their schedule.
Penn State was a top 10 team just maybe a month ago, is unranked now, and is a team that we were talking about.
Yeah, 4 versus 3.
Yeah, they were number 4, and Penn State has fallen all the way outside of the top 25 now. They will host Michigan. I almost did it on Saturday at noon. Another big noon game. Fox getting this one. You can check it out on noon. Number 8 Oklahoma is at number 13 Baylor. Patrick, we'll do our picks tomorrow. I do not have the line in front of me for Oklahoma Baylor, but this is one that I kind of tend to believe you've got a big eye on Oklahoma being massive upset alert. Oklahoma is a 5.5 point favorite. That line has moved down 1.5 points from when it opened at 7. But Baylor is a team that was cruising along, absolutely cruising along under Dave Aranda. They lost last week to TCU, who had just let go of Gary Patterson, had been dealing with a bunch of issues there. And now you kind of look around. Is Baylor ready to bounce back? It'll be a noon game, early start in Waco. But Oklahoma, again, we talked about it yesterday with the college football playoff, kind of far down the list, even though they're undefeated. This is a game that could vault them into the top 5. I could see the college football playoff committee saying, hey, you finally beat somebody. Let's move you up a little bit.
Yeah, this is the biggest test of the year. You just look through Oklahoma's schedule, and they squeaked by Tulane in the opener, 5-point win there, beat Nebraska by a touchdown, 3 points against West Virginia at home, 6 points against Kansas State. Obviously, that crazy comeback with Caleb Williams' introduction against Texas in the Red River Shootout. Then they throttled TCU. Kansas, they barely beat. They probably deserve to lose that game, and then beat Texas Tech last week handily. And this is their big stretch. Number 18 Baylor, Iowa State, and then number 10 Oklahoma in 2 weeks to end it in Bedlam to close out the season. I don't know how to feel about this because Baylor's one of those teams that just never intrigues me. I just feel like something about Baylor is just boring, so I never end up watching Baylor games, even though I can acknowledge that they're a good team. So I don't even really know what to expect. I don't know what this Baylor team is. So I will probably watch this as just like a I need to see Baylor in person.
You will be gearing up on Saturday.
I mean, what
a.m.
is Baylor's identity as a football team right now?
Well, after everything happened with Art Briles and then Matt Rule going out there and kind of rebuilding that program and then moving on to the Panthers and now Dave Aranda coming in, they are a program we don't pay attention to. And they're going to be part of that Big 12, to which I'm not sure how much attention we'll pay to the Big 12 when Oklahoma and Texas leave.
I mean, we don't pay attention to them, but I mean, they played the Big 12 championship at least 2 years ago. I mean, with Charlie Brewer, that quarterback, and I think they've been a good team. I just kind of assume that because Dave Aranda is the coach that their identity is defense. I don't know if that's right or not, but it is the Big 12, so maybe that everyone's just identity is offense in that conference. I don't know anything about Baylor.
Yeah, and it can be a little hard to follow, but yeah, Baylor, Oklahoma, noon game. One other noon game to kind of follow if you're a South Carolina fan. Bo Nix reverted back to bad Bo Nix last week at Texas A&M, 20 of 41, threw an interception, had a really bad fumble that really turned the tide in that game in College Station. Mississippi State goes down there. Auburn has pretty much eliminated themselves now from the SEC West, winning that. I don't think mathematically they're out of it, but again, with Alabama still to go now with 2 losses on their resume, Auburn has pretty much kind of removed themselves from from conversation now with the loss to Georgia and then the loss last weekend to Texas A&M. 2 will probably be too much to overcome. They host Mississippi State on Saturday at noon down on the Plains. And again, bad Bo Nix made an appearance last week. I kind of expect him to bounce back, but Mississippi State, if you come out slow and you're not prepared, the way Mike Leach's teams play, they can jump on you. They go down and miss a field goal last week that I actually watched because it was leading into the South Carolina game. They missed a field goal, and I thought it was the snapper's fault or the holder. It looked like a bad snapper hold. Mike Leach completely calling out his kicker after the game, and maybe rightfully so, but saying that basically anybody on campus or within the vicinity of Starkville who wants to come and have a tryout, just show up on campus and we'll give you a tryout. But Mississippi State can jump up and bite you if you're kind of not paying attention. They already did that to Texas A&M this year.
I feel like Mississippi State is one of the most overvalued teams in the country right now, with the college football playoff giving them an unreasonably high ranking early on. And then there was that weird thing about the ESPN FPI ranking them in the top 15 preseason. These are 2 teams that are really hard. I would never touch this game. These are 2 teams that are really hard to judge on a week-to-week basis, just because when you're a Mississippi State, when you run the air raid and you're just going to throw the ball 100 times a game, you can either just be throwing it into traffic on every single play and getting picked off. Like we've seen Mississippi State quarterbacks have 5 interception games, and we've also seen them go out there and light teams up for 500 yards through the air and 5 touchdowns and score 56 points. And you just never know what to expect. Same with Auburn, because with a quarterback like Bo Nix, super volatile, he can be incredible, or he can be throwing the ball up every single play and throwing 3 interceptions and fumbling the ball and just being super, super reckless. So I don't know what to think about it, but I do tend to think that Auburn's secondary is actually very good. They're one of the better secondaries in the SEC, one of the better secondaries in the country, at least talent-wise. Roger McCreary over there should be maybe not a first-round pick, but he should be a top 50, top 100 pick this year. So I kind of like Auburn, and especially in a bounce-back spot. It's just that was so ugly last week. I don't know what to make of it. Was it just Texas A&M's defensive line wreaking havoc and making him uncomfortable the whole time? I don't know, but I do kind of like Auburn as a bounce back spot here. Tank Bigsby was bottled up last week too, and as one of the probably 2 or 3 best running backs in the country, I kind of expect him to have a big game as well.
Yeah, just something to keep an eye on with obviously Auburn coming to Columbia for a night game. Auburn is a 5.5-point favorite in that one. A few other noon games. New Mexico State is at number 2, Alabama. Oh boy. Samford travels to Florida. Not that we expect Florida to lose. UConn and Clemson. Oh boy, that also UConn not good at the game of football.
Yeah, but do you see the number on that?
41.
Can Clemson even score 41 points against
UConn's bad?
A skeleton defense?
UConn's bad. Real bad. Like Clemson,
as bad as it gets.
They're bad. 3:30, couple 3:30 games. Patrick mentioned number 19 Purdue at Ohio State. Purdue already with 2 top 5 wins on the season. That's what the Boilermakers do. They just beat top 5
so that's
teams.
why they're maxed out.
But also, I don't think that, and we've got some Purdue fans that listen, I don't think that stat holds true on the road. I think that's what happens in West Lafayette. People go into West Lafayette and Purdue knocks off top 5 teams just left and right.
But they also come out of nowhere to win those games. A ranked Purdue team cannot have that same magic. Take Ohio State.
And was it 2 years ago that that the same thing happened? Ohio State was top 5 and went into West Lafayette in a night game?
It was 4 years ago because Rondale Moore was a true freshman and absolutely lit them up. It was the Tyler Trent game where the E60 story that just had the whole nation in tears that morning, and Purdue just came out super inspired and crushed Dwayne. It was Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State who were undefeated. That was their only loss, and when it was such a bad loss, that's why Ohio State was kicked out of the playoff with one loss.
Yeah, they thumped them. Ohio State 3:30 tomorrow, hosting number 19 Purdue. Purdue in the race there for the Big Ten West, by the way. A loss might eliminate them. It's kind of a jumbled division there. Number 1, Georgia, traveling to Tennessee. I'll be kind of interested in that game just to see Tennessee's offense. Like, Tennessee's clicking. 48 points last week against Kentucky. We know what they did against South Carolina. They've been putting points up. This is a different Tennessee team. They are fired up in Knoxville. They think that Josh Heupel now is the guy. I think you said it earlier this week, and I kind of agree with you. Tennessee now looking like the number 2 team in the SEC East, at least here in 2021. They'll host Georgia, 3:30 CBS game. I'm sure Georgia's a big, 20, of course, on the road. Why wouldn't Georgia be almost a 3-touchdown favorite? Seems probably about right, but Georgia, again, this feels like the last major test for them if somebody's going to jump up and bite them. The remainder of their schedule next week is, I don't know, is this Charleston Southern, I believe? If so.
Is it?
Yes, they play Charleston Southern next week. The emblem next to Charleston, I see what it is now. It's a Buccaneer. And then they're at Georgia Tech. This is it for Georgia.
Yeah.
You win this game, you can sleepwalk through the next 2 and still get into the SEC. Of course, they're in the SEC championship game, but you sleepwalk through these. You win this one, you sleepwalk through the next 2.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee's potentially got a lot to prove in this game. If they can keep it close against Georgia, they can have a lot of momentum towards the end of their season. But 20 points, I don't know where Georgia's at mentally. I mean, they just cover huge numbers every week. They were 2 points away from covering a 39-point spread last week. They just steamroll everyone. I hope if they get complacent, maybe Tennessee can sneak up and that fast offense can be something that can disarm Georgia's defense a little bit. Obviously, Georgia, I don't know where they're at mentally as a defensive unit because, I mean, they did it without Adam Anderson last week. Obviously, an awful situation going on there. They're going to be without him forever. So I tend to think that Georgia just is going to cover every number that comes their way. But we will see. Tennessee's defense, I think Georgia can still probably put up points against them too.
We'll make our picks tomorrow. One other 3:30 game just to mention, because this is an old school rivalry that we all used to get very excited about. ESPN will have the contest 3:30. Miami traveling to Florida State. Mike Norvell, Florida State. They get beat last week by NC State. I thought they were playing better after the Clemson or going into the Clemson game. They've now lost 2 straight. Miami and Manny Diaz. I don't know what's going to happen down there. There was lots of talk of Manny Diaz being fired, and the AD was openly kind of criticizing him. Miami's reeled off 3 straight now to get to 5-4. They've beat North Carolina State, Pittsburgh, and Georgia Tech. They finished with Florida State. Virginia Tech is in a world of hurt. Duke at Duke. Who knows what's going to happen there. Miami, they could win their next 3 and get to 8-4. It's not the season they hoped for, but
there's students or kids at Miami and Florida State right now whose parents watched this matchup in the early 90s through the early 2000s, and they're just shaking their head watching this matchup right now. It's embarrassing what it's come to.
We'll get into more of these games as we roll through the morning. Coming up next, Dr. Greg Grabowski will join us from Prisma Health Orthopedic. We'll catch up with him coming up at 8:05. Rock Lucas, the owner here at Charwood Golf Club, will join us to talk about the tournament today, as well as his thoughts on South Carolina. 8:20, Brian Edwards, a Vegas insider, will hop on to give you his picks for the week. And 8:45 this morning, Kerry Tharp wraps up what's going on with NASCAR. We got a busy morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Pratt out here live from Charwood Golf Club. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game is omnipresent.
I don't have anything here, right? All right. So we need a good. You got a good back injury right now in professional football. Last.
I don't think so.
You got a good spine injury. Cervical disc herniations. Peyton Manning. This guy's also a Ravens fan, so we can talk a little bit about that.
I have absolutely no idea how to ask spinal cord questions.
This guy looks fun.
Yeah, put a picture on the brand's thing.
Oh, you already did? Good job. All right, let's see here. Good deal.
What you said?
Doctor's ready.
Who was the guy that got paralyzed from Rutgers? What was that guy's name?
Do what? I thought that was Penn State.
No, on the kickoff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Rutgers player.
Hopefully this guy's long-winded with answers, because I don't know what to ask about. I never know.
On the injury list for the NFL. Really? No.
Yeah, ask about Tiger.
Huh?
You could ask about Tiger.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, good.
More spine questions.
Yeah.
Oh.
Geez, type in Tiger Woods and you get spine fusion disc replacements.
You also hear the background music of Sammy Hagar, I Can't Drive.
Trying to get back with
55.
his first wife, right? You see that?
I didn't see that.
Advertisements for baseball bats. Marriage counseling.
Yeah, he wants to remarry her and put in a clause that if he gets caught cheating, she gets like a bunch of money or something.
Here's an idea.
Yeah, good call. Who said that in? Craig? Craig, gold star for you today.
Just put him on the spot right away and ask him about Kevin Ayers' back injury.
Just throw it right at him. So
get him called up in HIPAA violation the second he gets on the air.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to like press it, but I could like. Is there such a thing as minor back surgery? I might actually throw that one out there just to like. I'll go through the Tiger Woods, and he's a Baltimore. He's a Maryland guy, so I'm going to bring that up. And he's a Baltimore Ravens fan. We're going to hit that.
Where did he go to school?
He actually went to the Maryland School of Medicine.
Oh, cool.
So you can take 107.5 The Game with you wherever you go. And now, back to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
7:48 on a Thursday morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette out here at Charwood Golf Club, getting ready for the 24th annual LC Memorial Golf Tournament, LC Lucas Memorial Golf Tournament, honoring not only Mr. Lucas himself, who was the founder of Charwood Golf Club in 1978, but veterans as well on a fantastic Veterans Day. Hope you are enjoying your morning. We go out to the Love Chevy phone lines and is joined now by Dr. Greg Grabowski of Prisma Health Orthopedic. Doctor, I know you are focused on tonight's football game. I understand you are a Baltimore Ravens fan, meaning you've probably got your purple and black on right now, face painted, probably terrifying a few nurses around the office, but you're ready for the game tonight,
Humming
correct?
Seven Nation Army to himself.
Come on now.
We're
garnet and black here in Columbia. We don't worry about the Ravens that much now. Hope you guys are keeping warm out there.
Thankfully, we're inside. If you're familiar with our history, Rock normally does a great job, except for the one year he forgot we were coming, and we did like the first hour outside in 40-degree temperature, and we almost built a fire with his patio equipment.
Trust me, they'll mind enough that they're cold. You'll hear it. You'll know.
Again, Dr. Greg Grabowski joining us this morning, Midlands Health orthopedic surgeon. Dr. Grabowski, I think one of the questions we would ask you about, given that we're at a golf tournament and just kind of going back to Tiger Woods, surgery on the back, on the spine, and then trying to play golf or recover from that. Back surgery, I never consider it a minor thing, but certainly what you've seen with in regards to surgeries, and I'm sure some of your patients over the years, I'm sure one of the questions has got to be, how quickly can I get back on the course?
Yeah, golf is actually a surprisingly back unfriendly exercise. I think everybody thinks of golf as one of those things that's just a lifelong sport that isn't going to be something that injuries are going to keep them from getting back to. But I do think that lumbar spine problems certainly can limit people. And the reality of the question you're asking of, well, when can I get back? I think really depends on what the problem is that you have. And those problems can, span the spectrum of a strained muscle to causing back pain, to arthritis causing back pain, to a herniated disc, or arthritis causing stenosis or pinching of the nerves. And so I think that a lot of the answer to that depends on what the person is dealing with.
Get Dr. Greg Grabowski joining us this morning, Prisma Health orthopedic surgeon, focusing on the spine and lumbar. And you mentioned that. Is there things people could? I'm 39, doctor. I'm getting older, and I can feel it. It's a little chilly this morning. As you mentioned that, are there things people can do warming up before playing golf? Is there stretches? Is there workouts people can do to protect their spine or back? Or is this something that just simply, as you age, is going to affect you?
Well, the lower back is predominantly supported by the core muscles, and so we, in all sorts of training, talk about the need for core strengthening, and that couldn't be more true in anything more than the back. And so, really working on your core, strengthening the muscles of your belly and back to support your back as much as possible. That's the way that you're going to prevent those types of injuries from occurring in the first place. And then, as you're warming up, as you're getting ready. Getting your back limber before you go out there, I think certainly is going to be one of those things that will make the round more enjoyable.
Now, does that include mimosas?
It all depends on how early you're starting, I suppose.
I didn't know if when you say limbering up, loosening up. I didn't know if there was actual exercises or mimosas. Dr. Greg Grabowski joining us this morning again. He is with Prisma Health Orthopedic. He is a surgeon. You can follow Prisma Health on Instagram at Prisma Health Sports Medicine. You mentioned you're now a Carolina fan. You've been around. Patrick is from the D.C. area. I saw you graduated from the University of Richmond and then attended the University of Maryland School of Medicine. Do you have any other affiliation with Maryland? Because Patrick's actually a big Maryland fan.
I grew up a huge Maryland basketball fan. Maryland football. Once you got into my time era, wasn't anything to write home about. So we were big basketball fans growing up, though.
Gary Williams is an idol because Patrick wears his Gary Williams shirt around all the time.
Is that with or without the sweat stains?
With, of course. I'm a sweater too.
Are you? Patrick gets upset about. I think Patrick gets upset about this. He's that I'm putting words on his mouth. Are you anti Big Ten? Were you upset with the move from Maryland from the ACC and the breaking of rivalries to go to the Big Ten?
I hated it. I completely hated it. I grew up watching, like I said, Maryland basketball and loving the Duke Maryland basketball games as much as we usually ended up on the wrong end of those. Those were always just so much fun, and the notion that those don't happen anymore is really the reason I kind of stopped following Maryland basketball, to be totally honest. How'd you feel about it?
How do I word this nicely? Are you okay? Are you pulling for Mike Krzyzewski in his final year? Do you want to see him do well, maybe not win a championship, or is there so much dislike at this point? You're like, man, I hope he loses every game in his farewell tour.
I think I think you have to be in one of those places where number one, he's done so much for the game of college basketball, and the things that he's been able to accomplish over time, you have to have, and the way that he did it, meaning that I think that he did it by not only creating good basketball players, but putting good men out into the world. I think those are things that are to be commended and celebrated. And so I'm a huge Mike Krzyzewski fan, and I think that the world needs more Mike Krzyzewskis out there. And if he goes out on top, I'm okay with that, even though I hate Duke with a passion. I think that for him and for the game, I think I'd be okay with that for sure.
He is Dr. Greg Grabowski with the Prisma Health Orthopedic. Before we let you go, we need some free advice. Alan asks on our Cool Care Heating and Air text line. 2 weeks ago, he bent over to tee up a golf ball. Something in his left lower back popped. Doing stretch therapy, okay or not?
Definitely okay. I think if it doesn't get better with a week or two of stretching at home and some ibuprofen, then I would recommend getting in with a licensed physical therapist to help him with exactly what he ought to be doing with those exercises.
You're the man. You covered Maryland. You offered advice, Dr. Grabowski. We appreciate you joining us this morning. Hope you have a great weekend. Hope the Ravens win tonight.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate the time. Thanks for having me today.
Take
Home
care.
of the game.
Hour number 3 up next on the early game. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Patrick Brett, and Jen Jen.
Eastover, Columbia, a Cumulus media station.
Don't let a cold keep you up. Take NyQuil.
Well, I think we could have him on like for an hour.
Roll right
He's a cool
through.
dude.
Yeah, when he just completely deflected the Ravens
good guy.
questions again, I was like, okay, is he not going to want to rant? Okay.
Oh no, we weren't the golf thing. Craig, thank you. You get a free beverage on me for the Tiger Woods for the golf idea, because once we got on that was perfect. That was all we needed. And he went long winded on it, which was helpful because then we had covered basically what we needed to cover. Okay, and then I'll text you Brian Edwards. Just send me what do you got plugged up? Okay, if you unplug it in like 20 minutes, is that gonna be all right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this thing's not so bad, right?
No, at some point I'm gonna have to plug mine in. I don't think mine's got 3 hours of.
I'll probably make it good. Let's just keep an eye on this thing.
That should be fine. You're right. That's got an hour. Here.
It has this one does not have the battery life that mine does.
Well,
I missed that.
I'm trying to think of how I used it the other day. Did I have it? Oh, I had it plugged in the entire time at the house. So you're right. Yeah, actually, if you've got one, that is awesome for 1 more hour. Yeah, we're over here.
We want to test this thing. No, I'm just take my headset.
Okay, that's fine. Just keep him on your finger. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Is he ready?
He's in here. He's one. He knows. I've already texted him. Yeah, the problem is, and I don't want to mess with that and electrocute myself, but like this outlet, something. Yeah, no, that's what I was saying.
Somebody broke something off. That's why I'm thinking. Yeah. Just setting up the charger right now. What time you got school? What time you got school? Now.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, what's up with school, Bob?
No, I'm going that way.
What is that? Well, Waddy, I don't know when you say clap. At least the one I saw was a pretty jerk fan making a smart comment. Like, I didn't think he was necessarily jumping down anybody's throat. I thought it was Frank on Twitter yesterday. He was kind of a.
Hey.
I don't know. No, Lefty built the program, but I think Gary's better. Gary's the best coach. He won a national championship. But Lefty gets all the credit for laying the foundation.
Oh, and I got QC Connects here.
How many can you ride on your so if you drive, but if she drives us, that we can bring 3 back at a time.
I just gotta get, these gotta be on there by.
So, true story about Maryland and South Carolina. My grandfather in the 70s under Frank McGuire was kind of like the head engineer basically for the radio broadcast. He was best friends with Bob Fulton and all. And when South Carolina went to play Maryland, I don't know what year, South Carolina lost a close game up at Maryland. And they went to get on the plane to fly back. They were flying back. It was a weeknight, from what my grandfather has always said. As they got on the plane, the pilot was standing there, as you walk and you go down the aisle or whatever. And as Frank McGuire walked onto the plane, the pilot made a smart remark about like, oh, coach, you just can't beat Lefty Driesell. Or my grandfather said was Frank McGuire ordered all the players back off the plane, back into the terminal, and said they would not fly home until they got a new pilot. He said they sat at the airport for like 3 hours because the pilot made just a smart remark.
You ready? Whatever you say.
Alan says to tell you hello. Just turn them up. Alan, yes. Or where's Deborah? It says Alan Gordon says. Alan Gordon says tell Deborah.
Okay, cool.
All right, so
There
you
he is.
control his volume. Turn it up a little bit more than yours.
We're coming back in a minute. Yeah.
And then when it starts, mute yourself and turn this one on.
It don't matter either way, it's all gotta be done.
Or I'll do it.
Yeah. We got a minute.
Rob, can we go get the cards now?
Yeah.
Okay, and where are said cards? Ain't gonna miss them. Where's the keys at?
Daniel's supposed to drop them off in here. Did Daniel drop those club car keys off?
Didn't give you any club car keys either?
No.
Call Daniel, he's got club car keys, and then they're at the top of the hill across at my house, across the street. They're back behind the trailer.
She does still have our car keys.
She's leaving, so. She doesn't do car keys.
Ask her. I mean, if you want to go move your car, if she hadn't moved it, you might want to like grab yours. I'm not going anywhere for a while. As long as my car is unlocked, I'm okay. I think we got about another minute. You're way ahead of time this morning. 5:45.
No.
So I was gonna race in. And,
Well, I started texting all these knuckleheads at 5:20.
Actually, you're coming back in.
So, all right, who's opening? Well, I texted them last night. Nobody answered last night. So I texted them this morning at 5:20. I said, who's opening?
hey, Terry's here.
5:25, 5:30, 5:40.
We told you last night before we walked out of here who was going.
And producer extraordinaire, Jen Jensen. It's time for the early game, where the bacon is always prepared properly.
My grand slam was supposed to be with sausage.
On 107.5, The Game.
Guess right.
8:03 on a Thursday morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette out here at Charwood Golf Club, the 24th annual L.C. Lucas Memorial Tournament being held today in honor of Mr. Lucas, who founded Charwood Country Club 1978. They still hold the tournament every day on Veterans Day. We've been a part of it for 3 or 4 years now, and it's been a lot of fun to be a part of. Mr. Lucas himself was a World War II Navy veteran, and of course the Lucas family. We're going to catch up with Rock Lucas in just a second here. Established the Charwood charities to provide for those in need. Last year they raised over $10,000, and you know what? They'll do it again this year. You can still donate today. You can call 803-755-2000. Patrick, where did Patrick go? He's not participating in golf today, and Rock, I guess I'm not really participating either. I'm going to ride around with you, but a knee injury is going to sideline your D player.
Well, Bill, first off, thank y'all for being part of this and for all these years. And it's great to have y'all in the family and us be part of y'all's family. And then the most importantly thing is, even when you didn't have any knee problems, you weren't contributing a whole lot.
As I said, I was the D player. That's not true. I drove a golf cart with I've never once run into a tree or caused a golf cart problem when I've been out here. The golf cart has always been returned intact.
And you made sure that the cups were never empty and the koozies were never light.
There was very little trash in the golf cart as well, whoever did that. Tell us a little bit about the golf tournament. Obviously, this is in honor of your father.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about him. Obviously, World War II Navy veteran. That's awesome. It's a great day. And again, I'll thank once again real quick all the veterans out there for their service or whether they're serving now. It's a fantastic day, and you guys have been putting on a phenomenal event.
We appreciate it. And he was like most of his generation. World War II came, and they stepped up, and he joined the Navy at 17 and left home. And so I use that examples, and all the military guys are out there today that's all over the country. Whenever you talk to people that really don't want to work, I said, you do know that there's people that's younger than you out there now toting backpacks in the middle of the desert, just protecting us. And but so anyway, that's a whole other story. But we've been doing the tournament. Dad passed away in 1998. He would help you. He was one of those. He was a tough love guy. Now, if you needed help, he would help you, but he's not going to help you if you're not willing to help yourself. And so we started this charity in 1998 and been doing it every year since then. Most everybody knows that they've already got it on their calendar for next year. We've turned away 15 teams this year, and there's a lot of people get upset that they don't get into the tournament because they just want to be part of what we're doing. We'll take the proceeds, and then we go through the guidance counselors at the school. We stay, to keep them between us and the families, and so they know best who is in need. They know best who needs what, and then we'll provide them with the gift cards for the parents to go and do the shopping for their kids for Christmas. So that's the bulk of it. Then we'll save some for helping somebody throughout the year, whether it be electric or clothes or whatever the needs may be.
You mentioned your father. He founded this golf course, built this golf. We've kind of talked about it a couple times. We've played. Tell the little story that you told me. I think it was when we were out here for our tournament back in August about how Charwood came to be.
Well, he took up golf at late in life, so he was in his probably late 30s, early 40s when he took up golf, and he loved it so much. And to be honest with you, golf, there was mostly all private clubs. There wasn't that many public golf courses around, and he wanted to play somewhere where he felt comfortable. Now he did well for himself, but he was also a blue collar guy, and that's who he wanted to be around. He was a blue jeans guy, and he wanted to do something, build something that was comfortable for people like him to play. And so we live across the street and had some family farmland, and then this land was across the street from us, and it was an old dirt road. And he said, "Man, that'd be a pretty golf course over there." He and his buddy were sitting on the back porch, Mr. Myers, and next thing you know, I'm plowing up soybean fields and bush hogging and disking and harrowing and all that, and we are laying out fairways. And I tell everybody, it's kind of, we built it on he built the first 9 on a Waffle House napkin, and we did the next 9 and the next 9 doing the same thing. So we're still building today and rebuilding. And so if somebody hadn't been out here, they wouldn't even recognize the golf course. But we started with 9 holes in the old farmhouse, and the cart barn and maintenance building was the old barn, and then went 18 holes with the same farmhouse, and added on to the farmhouse and dressed it up a little bit, put a little lipstick on it. And then in about 1990, we moved to where we are now. So we moved the clubhouse about a mile down the road, and on to the other 9 holes to go 27. Then about 5 years ago, we went back to 18 holes. Now with COVID, we could have had 36 holes, but we still made the right decision. 18 holes, and the golf course is just great shape.
Family run business. Your son Daniel is now involved. What lessons are you passing on to him? I played golf with Daniel a couple times, sharp young man, but what lessons do you pass on to him that you got from your father, who, again, World War II Navy veteran?
Well, the lessons I passed on to him was don't get in the golf business. But
okay.
He didn't listen like I didn't listen either. So. But it's I use a line off of Yellowstone, and everybody hopefully watches Yellowstone. But the grandfather was with the grandson, and they're up top of the mountains. And then he said, how tough ranching is. And he said, well, you can't control. You got taxes, federal taxes, state taxes, local taxes. You got zoning. You got this. You got that. You can't control the price of the fuel, and to get your cattle to market. You can't control the price of the grain. So that's all just like golf. And he said, it's a tough life. And they said, well, Grandfather, why do we do it? He said, because it's a hell of a life. So, I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
What is it like? You guys, it's a family run business, and we've talked about it. You showed me. I've been out there and seen the equipment. You don't have a huge maintenance staff. You guys come up. What is it like today in this day and age, maintaining a golf course and keeping it in great shape for people to be able to come out and play on an everyday basis?
It's a labor of love. So you got to love Mondays, because every day's a Monday. You got to love getting up early, which you do.
Yes.
So, but we do that, 7 days a week. And it's getting more and more difficult, because depends on, and I'm not getting into politics, but depends on what administration is in office as to how difficult some regulations can be on golf courses and on farms and land in general. So as long as, there's the toughest thing is government regulations. But other than that, it's just a lot of, labor of love. So, and both of us work the business, hard and work it full time. So it makes it a little bit easier when, you got somebody else seeing the same thing that you see.
So not too different than being a South Carolina fan. To be a South Carolina, it's got to be a labor of love on a year in, year out basis.
Yeah, some thick skin.
You were a Gamecock fan. You've been through the good and the bad, and obviously last weekend was part of the good.
Yep. Both Daniel and I both graduated from Carolina, and we've been 60 or so years consecutive Gamecock club. So we've been through a lot.
Now, what do you expect from this coming weekend? Because Patrick and I have talked about that. I'm 39. I've been around it. You've been around it. You just mentioned a lot longer. It seems like the good times tend to be backed up with a flat fall on your face. And look, last week was great. And now bowl eligibility. We talked with you back in August. 6 wins was the hope. It was up. And now you sit here with 3 games to go, 2 more after this one, but the opportunity to get bowl eligible. What would it mean, in your opinion, for Shane Beamer in year one?
In year one, well, we were sitting here talking about this last night when we were here getting ready for the tournament. It's very conceivable that we could not win a single game the rest of the season.
True.
It's very conceivable that we could win out the rest of the season. I'm going to go with being an eternal optimist that we win out. And if he wins 2 of the next 3, he's got to be coach of the year. Now obviously he probably won't be national, but he's got to be conference coach to do what he's done. So,
what is your Jason Brown opinion? You see him. You've had to watch. You've watched Zeb Nolan, Luke Doty. Last week, Jason Brown comes out of, I don't want to say nowhere, but certainly I don't know what we expected from him.
First game was awesome. This one, like you talked about, I think yesterday on the air. Now there's film. What's going to be like when the other team knows what to expect and that sort of thing. But I thought when Zeb came out, he was awesome. Every quarterback that comes out, the first game is just unbelievable. So, man, we found ourselves a quarterback, and then next we don't have a quarterback. And now whether but if the line does what they did last week, I remember old Lou Holt's days that it's kind of hard to throw from the prone position.
It's just the offensive line will be the most important part tomorrow. Again, Rock Lucas joining us, owner here at Charwood Golf Club. And again, just to remind everybody, they can still donate, even if they're not coming out today. How do people get in touch with you or the club today to be able to make a donation that'll go to this great charity?
They can either write a check and they can call the golf shop and 755-2000. They can write a check and mail it. They can call. We'll take a credit card over the phone and any amount. It don't matter. It can be $5 to own up, whatever So most people say, well, how much you need or what do you need? Or so whatever you feel like comfortable giving. So,
and that's made if they write a check to Charwood Charities.
Charwood Charities.
Charwood Charities.
Charwood Charities. Anyway, it's all going to go in the same place.
Well, you got me on your team, or at least I'm kind of more of a general. I'm taking your spot today. I'm going to be more of the general manager in the third golf cart and riding around. I might hit some shots. I actually feel better than I did yesterday when you and I talked. So we'll see what I can do. But I look forward to hanging out with you again and appreciate you having us out. We're very appreciative that y'all have included us in this great event the last several years.
Glad to have you and Patrick out here. We appreciate it.
Look forward to catching up here later this afternoon. Thank you so much. 803-404-6100 is how you can join us this morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Barrett, big thank you to Rock Lucas and, again, his team for having us out here at Charwood Golf Club today to catch up and enjoy a fantastic Veterans Day event that they have each and every year. Again, it's the 24th annual L.C. Lucas Memorial Tournament held here at Charwood Golf Club in honor of Mr. Lucas, who founded Charwood Country Club. 1978 is when that occurred. They hold the tournament on Veterans Day every year, and we've been a part of it. Gamecock Larry has been out here in the past, a terrific veteran. And again, we thank everybody that is a veteran either serving now or has served in the past. Again, Mr. L.C. Lucas, Rock's father, was a World War II Navy veteran. And again, proceeds from today's event go to different charities around here. Charwood Charities donating last year, raising $10,000. And as you heard Rock say, even if you can't make it out here today, you can still donate. Even if it's just $5, you can call the Pro Shop, 803-755-2000 for more information. Patrick, you've only played one golf tournament in your life. Is that right? You limited it to one, and that was it. That was enough for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was captain's choice. I didn't swing on some holes, I don't think.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm too embarrassed to play golf in front of people now.
Okay.
So one of these days I do want to become a competent golfer, but that's going to require me playing by myself every day for probably like 6 months before I feel.
Most people will tell you, and I'll be the leader of that group, that getting married and having kids is not the time to develop your golf game. Usually you do it prior to the kids and the marriage, because I made the mistake one year when I was married previously of forgetting our anniversary and being on the golf course and getting a phone call. Yeah, Jen, it thankfully was early in the afternoon, so I was able to kind of save that one. I was able to cut it short after about 5 holes and pretend like it was just, hey, you're working. What would you expect me to do today?
I do feel left out of a lot of things, though, because I can't play golf and I can't ski or snowboard. So I do have a lot of times where my friends will put together like a ski snowboarding weekend or a golf weekend, and I'm just like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, the skiing and the snowboarding, despite what Dr. Grabowski told us in the previous segment about golf and back injuries, the skiing and the snowboarding, though, far more dangerous than the golfing.
Yeah.
The golfing, you can kind of limit yourself on that and make sure that you don't like do it, and you can play golf into your. I don't know what the oldest skier is. I don't know what age you just determine I'm not skiing.
I
I'm
don't
going to
think.
go late 30s on that. Maybe 40s. I don't know how many people are
No, you
out there
can
skiing
do
in
it
40s.
late. I don't think you're bombing black diamonds when you're in your 60s, but you can still ski down a hill.
I feel like you're running I mean, you got
somebody text in. There's somebody there. We have a texter here
that
that's
are
in their 60s,
snow
50s
skiing.
or 60s.
Snow skiing. I feel like water
Yeah.
skiing and snow skiing are two. And I can't do either. I can't water
I
ski
can't do
either. 803-404-6100. Coming up next, Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider and MajorWager.com will join us. He has got plenty of picks for the weekend. It's a weekend that he likes. We will get him on the line to let you listen to his picks. You can take what you like, tune away or fade what you don't like, but you will listen to Brian Edwards next year on the early game on 107.5 The Game.
More of the early game coming up on 107.5 The Game.
Oh, talking about injuries this morning, feeling sore, struggling. Maybe it's time to give QC Kinetics a phone call. If somebody's told you that surgery is your only option, that's not true at all. You can call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. 803-281-6860. Again, are you suffering from pain? Have you been told surgery is your only option? That's not the case with regenerative medicine that QC Kinetics uses, plus no steroids, no opioids. QC Kinetics is the new way of doing things. If you're suffering from tissue, muscle, or ligament damage, now's the time to give QC Kinetics a phone call today. If you're tired of the constant chronic pain, weary from the impact of limited mobility, and tired of addictive pain medications, QC Kinetics is the phone number you need to have to get in touch with and get your quality of life back. 803-281-6860. It's an absolute game changer, and it's the way to get yourself back to the quality of life you've been living or want if you're suffering from muscle, ligament, or tissue issues. You can get rid of the inflammation just by following the regenerative medicine that QC Kinetics uses. No steroids, no opioids. Again, 803-281-6860. All consultations are free. Give QC Kinetics a call today, 803-281-6860.
Clear. From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com. Pine Plain Road at St. Matthews Road in Swansea. We have a report of an accident there. Also, still working an earlier accident, Kelly Mill Road at Hardscrabble Road. I-77 southbound at Bluff Road. And a report of a fire I-20 eastbound at 277. So definitely approach that area with caution. Again, a fire I-20 eastbound at 277. Your forecast for today, looking for some showers around 74 for the high, 75 tomorrow. And right now, it's 50 at 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal Employee Program. At the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal Employee Program, they cover more federal employees, retirees, and their families than any other health plan. Now it's time to see what they can do for you. Learn more about healthy benefits at fepblue.org/wecan.
Silverados are back in stock at Herndon Chevrolet.
Only you can unmute, so Jacob.
Yeah, we don't know. Sorry, we mute the live stream. No, not the live stream, but the radio broadcast, I guess. Hang on, this was a long break.
This
Jen,
is it.
Jen, let me know. Just at some point, text me. How long is the break after this one?
Yeah.
Just so I don't crush us. Good Lord, this thing's long.
Break.
Huh?
Just break.
Yeah, I mean, we're on like
Hey, how are you doing?
7 minutes now.
Good.
7 or 8 minutes.
About 5.5, 6. About
What?
6 minutes.
The next one will be 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's a lot of that. Sorry. Trying to.
So I'm gonna estimate 42ish. That'll bring us back at about 48. I mean, Brian Edwards of MajorWager.com and Vegas Insider coming up in just a minute. First, let me remind you, tomorrow afternoon, 4 to 7 p.m., join Heath Klein at Craft and Draft in Irmo. Free appetizers. You turn on free appetizers, 4 to 5 p.m., and you can hang out with Heath Klein. Free appetizers and Heath Klein? Craft and Draft in Irmo. T-Mobile and the game teaming up every Friday in November for free giveaways. You can also register to win a $250 gift card to Garnet and Black Traditions, all thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 or over. See site for details. Void where prohibited. Now we get back out to the Love Chevy phone lines. That time of the week, we get some picks. You can choose to take them. You can choose to fade them. That's the great thing about this country. You can choose what you want to do. Brian Edwards, you can follow him on Twitter at Vegas B Edwards. How are we doing this morning, Brian? Are you feeling? I feel bad. For those who don't know, Brian is a Florida fan. And Brian, are you ready to fire Dan Mullen after last weekend, or did the move to go ahead and fire Todd Grantham at least buy a few more weeks? Let's get to some picks here that you particularly like this weekend. Let's start with one of the biggest, if not the biggest game of the weekend, Texas A&M traveling to Mississippi. You like the Aggies, who seem to be red hot right now, minus the 2.5 against the Lane Train down in Oxford.
17, 30, and 21 points. They're number 2 in the nation in scoring D. They're only giving up 14.7 points per game. And Ole Miss still without star wide receiver Jonathan Mingo, and their second best receiver, Dontario Drummond, was out last week and is still very questionable this week. So I got to go Aggies -2.5.
One other close line that stood out to me, Miami seems red hot. They've won 3 in a row since Manny Diaz has been questioned. Florida State seems to be tumbling. I really liked North Carolina State minus the 2.5 last weekend down in Tallahassee. This weekend, Miami is getting the 2.5 or laying the 2.5 against the Seminoles. And I'm with you on this. You like the Hurricanes.
I do. And this young quarterback, Tyler Van Dyke, is trying to save Manny Diaz's job. The last 3 starts, he's thrown for 325, 426, and 389 yards. 3-game win streak. Van Dyke with 10 touchdown passes, only 1 interception. The only reason last week's game with Georgia Tech was close was because Miami lost 3 fumbles in the first half. One of them went for a scoop and score. Another one led to a quick short field touchdown drive. So they handed Georgia Tech 14 points, and that's why they didn't cover last week. But prior to that, a huge road win at Pitt, had beaten a very good NC State team at home. And then the week before that, they fell behind big at UNC and rallied and nearly won that one and only lost by 3, whereas FSU had the 3-game winning streak. But, at home to Syracuse on a walk-off field, a blowout win over UMass, who fired their coach 2 weeks later. And now they've lost back-to-back games by double-digit margins. Now the Clemson game was obviously a misleading final, but FSU 3-6, both straight up and against the spread on the season. And they've lost to the Canes 27-10 and 52-10 the last 2 years. So I'll go with Miami -2.5.
Brian, I want to shift away from college real quick and ask about this Seahawks-Packers game, which is probably the most intriguing game of the weekend. But how do you look at a game like this where so much is changing throughout the week? I guess when the line came out, I can't remember if we knew that Russ would be back or not. But with Russell Wilson announcing that he's coming back, we don't really know how he's going to look, but he's coming back. And then Aaron Rodgers obviously should be eligible on Saturday and play on Sunday. We're still not sure of that. But when you have all these moving parts throughout the week, I think some people probably look at it as a possibility to jump on or steal money and jump on a line. How do you judge a game like this when you're looking at things throughout the week?
Well, the Packers were favored by 1 against the Chiefs, and then Aaron Rodgers is out, and they go to 7 or 7.5 point dogs. So he's obviously, about an 8.5 point shift in the line, and maybe even more so after seeing Jordan Love, struggle in his first career NFL start, although he did get the late touchdown pass for a backdoor cover. But, right now, if you're confident Rodgers is going to play, and I see there is one book, Circa Sports, where you can get Green Bay at -3, or actually there's 2 of them. Caesars has also got it at 3. And if you think Rodgers is going to play and you love them at -3 with Rodgers, maybe you are able to get a good line, because maybe Saturday night, when he's confirmed, if he's confirmed to play, it maybe goes to 4, 4.5. For me, though, I got to know that he's playing 100% before I'm going to risk any money on it. But, I can understand one wanting to jump on it at 3, thinking it's going to be 4, 4.5 Sunday morning, or maybe even more than that. We'll just have to see. But right now, I'm in a holding pattern.
Again, he's Brian Edwards. You can check out his work at majorwager.com. You can also check him out. He is the senior handicapper for VegasInsider.com. You can follow him on Twitter at VegasBEdwards is the way to do that. A few other games that you like. You like some big spreads this weekend, and 2 that we discussed earlier. Purdue at Ohio State. Purdue catching or getting 21. Tennessee at home against Georgia, and I think they're getting 20 to 21 as well. Your thoughts on those large spreads for interesting games at 3:30 Saturday?
Yeah, if your number is 20.5 on Purdue, by the half point to the key number of 21. Man, Jeff Brom has been dynamite as a big underdog during his 5-year tenure at Purdue. He's 7-1 against the spread in 8 games as double-digit underdogs. He's 9-2 against the spread in 11 games as a road underdog. And going back even further for the Boilermakers, since 2012, they're an incredible 25-8 against the spread as road underdogs. On the road this season specifically, Purdue is 3-1 both straight up and against the spread. They won 24-7 at Iowa, was undefeated at the time as an 11-point dog. They won 28-23 at Nebraska as a 7.5-point dog. Purdue, I don't buy into this is a flat spot for them, with a big win over Sparty last week, because Purdue is never in the Big Ten race in November. But right now they're in a four-way tie for first place in the Big Ten West. Ohio State has failed to cover the number as a double-digit favorite in back-to-back games, winning by 9 at home to Penn State and Nebraska, and they struggle to stop the pass. They rank 96th out of 130 FBS teams in pass defense. And that's not good news going up against Purdue's passing game, with O'Connell throwing for more than 500 yards last week. And Purdue is number 16 in the nation in scoring D. They only give up 18.4 points per game, and they're catching 21 if we buy the half point. I like the Boilermakers, and I also like Tennessee in the exact same situation, but they're at home. And again, buy the half point from 20.5 to 21. I made Georgia a 14-point favorite. Tennessee's only losses at home this year were to two very good teams. Pitt, that was a 41-34 7-point game. But, Hendon Hooker, who's been great this year, a 21-2 TDI-INT ratio for the Vols, he didn't get into the Pitt game until like mid-ish second quarter when Joe Milton got hurt. And then they lost by 5 to Ole Miss. And the only two teams that have run away from the Vols and won by double digits this year were Florida and Alabama. And Tennessee was only down by 7 to Alabama with 13 minutes left. And they didn't score in the second half against Florida, but had a late second quarter lead and were only down 4 at halftime. So I think the Vols are improving each game with Josh Heupel. They're averaging 38.2 points per game. I think Georgia's going to get its first 60-minute slugfest, tight game. I think Georgia wins, but I think this is a one-possession game late, and the Vols give Georgia all they want, and it'll be an electric atmosphere at Neyland for sure.
So one of the other ranked matchups is this Oklahoma-Baylor game. Oklahoma largely untested. I mean, they've been challenged, but they haven't played good teams. They've been close with bad teams. We were just saying earlier, I know nothing about Baylor. I just find them to be maybe not a boring, but just kind of irrelevant program. I never find myself watching them. What do you think about Baylor? Are they a top 15 team in the country? Do they deserve that? And what is their identity? And what do you think about that game?
Well, they've been very good at home. They beat Texas at home. They beat BYU at home. They blew out West Virginia by 25 at home. They beat Iowa State at home. Iowa State and BYU are definitely quality teams. Texas is, on slumping bad now, but they got plenty of talent. So Baylor's been, dynamite at home, and Oklahoma's been horrible against the number all year. So I'm not saying Baylor's going to make my card, but in my contest where I've got to pick 25 games, I haven't even done those picks yet, but I know this game will be on there, and I'll probably pick Baylor in my contest, and I lean toward the Bears catching 5.5 or 6.
Let's get you out on the two in-state teams. First off, Clemson and Connecticut, not a fun, entertaining game to watch, but Clemson 41-point favorites. We know their offense. I think their offense is kind of turning a corner. It seems to be a little bit better, but 41's a lot. Connecticut stinks at the game of football, though.
They do. I'd say UConn or pass, but it's a pass for me. And then South Carolina, Missouri. It just all depends on Connor Bazelak. Now I didn't check any information last night to see if he practiced or not. I know I looked yesterday morning and he was questionable. If Bazelak can't go, I'm not saying I'm betting South Carolina, but I think it just comes down. If Bazelak goes, I would probably lean to Missouri. If he doesn't go, I'd probably lean to South Carolina. But that game, neither one of those in-state games for you guys are going to make my card.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, for Clemson, how many points would have been enough? Because 41 is just so much.
Oh, man, you just can't lay. I mean, I know UConn is abysmal, but you can't lay a lot of points with Clemson when they just
Right.
don't score. So I don't know what would be. I would guess maybe if they were 27 or fewer, maybe I'd think about them, but I don't have to, so I won't.
Real quick, last one, and we'll close this out. Tonight, you got a good one, North Carolina, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh 6.5-point favorite. That over-under, anytime you start talking 70s, and especially up at Pittsburgh, it'll be cold. Over-under 73, 72.5. You got a lean? You got an opinion on tonight?
Well, I don't trust meteorologists, so don't take this to the bank because I'm saying this, but I did go look at weather.com yesterday, and there's a 100% chance of rain in Pittsburgh tonight. And with a number in the 70s and 2 passing teams, that makes me think under. But I normally don't play unders just because of rain or slippery conditions, because it can lead to fumbles, scooping scores, or turnovers that give you a short field. So I'm not saying I'm definitely on the under, but I weather.com says 100% chance of rain, and it's a total in the 70s. So that kind of makes me think under. So there's that idea. I'm not committing to it for sure, but yeah, that's all I got for you on that one, Gunner.
He is Brian Edwards. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at VegasB Edwards is the way to do that. We appreciate your contributions each and every week. Hope you have a great weekend and look forward to catching up with you next week, Brian.
Thanks, gentlemen. Y'all have a great week as well.
Take care. He's Brian Edwards with, again, majorwager.com, and he is the senior handicapper at VegasInsider.com. Make sure you have his articles as part of your Saturday morning reading as you prepare for your college football pick'ems or whatever you may do on Saturday mornings. 803-404-6100. Kerry Tharp is up next. He will break down the end of the NASCAR season. Kyle Larson taking home the championship last week. We will talk about that and get his final thoughts as we wrap up the NASCAR episodes of our program. Jen Jensen will congratulate me on another championship, and it will be a happy, happy, happy wrap up to a Thursday episode of The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
Dan Patrick, weekdays 9 until noon on 107.5 The Game.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. Shepherd'sGlass.com. We do have a report of a fire, I-20
all right.
77. Also working an earlier accident, Kelly Mill
That's a
Road.
Thursday morning. We'll walk outside in a minute and see if it's warmed up
And
at all.
Muncie Pine Plain Road at St. Matthews Road. Could see some scattered showers today. 74 for the high, that is. Overnight low of 59. Tomorrow, the skies will be clearing. 75 for the high. 50 right now at 107.5 The Game.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Hey parents, good news. Kids ages 5 to 11 are eligible for a COVID vaccine. Your future CEOs, artists, innovators, and more are eligible for a vaccine that can help protect their future. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, if you've got a hole in your roof or you need a whole new roof, you need to call Mid-State Roofing, 356-1919. For nearly a quarter of a century, Mid-State Roofing has established its reputation as the leader in the roofing industry. Whether it's above your head or at your feet, perhaps a leaky foundation, 356-1919 is the number to call for all your roofing and waterproofing needs. The quality and craftsmanship of a Mid-State roofing system are tops in the industry, especially commercial and industrial roofing systems. If you own or you're in charge of a large building, warehouse, or industrial facility, then you're in charge of that roof. And at some point, a roof is going to need some attention. So the number to call for advice, service, results, and a commitment to customer satisfaction is 356-1919. See all that Midstate has to offer when you click on midstateroofing.com. Tell them, Midstate twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
356-1919, midstateroofing.com.
You haven't tasted real Carolina barbecue until you've experienced Little Pig's Barbecue.
Little Pig's Barbecue.
Full service dine-in, buffet, eat-in, or take-out. And now it's time to order your Thanksgiving turkeys. Little Pig's Barbecue has smoked, baked, and fried turkey.
Taking orders now through November.
Boy. 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 Where's scorecard? You're out there sitting on top of in the parking lot next to the golf cart. Hey, boy, why are you being so late? What you like to?
Sindarius is joining the Hamburg Towers. Mike Kotzar's team in Germany.
Kotzar's team?
Looks like it. That's what I just
The
saw.
Hamburg Towers?
Hope just retweeted that on Twitter.
Okay. Well.
Hey, how do we do this? Do we do, as we normally do, all the way to the end, go out first? Yeah, I told Bill and I was talking with left inside the front nine, that'll be 9, and 1. And the right hand side of 10. You know, 18 and all them.
It's a very threatening commercial.
What is it?
It's the DT law where she's like, "You'll be sorry when you hear who my lawyer is."
Yeah. 65, that's gonna be the green tea. And under 66, I'm older with the yellow. Well, 65.
All right.
And then that's gonna be right that first.
Jen has sent me the final number on the picks.
Get off the yellow tea on you.
I keep thinking it's Friday, which is not a good thing.
Every time we're here, it feels like it's Friday.
It does feel like, well, we've been here on Friday for I think the other tournament is always on Fridays.
What's Dave Brown gonna do this weekend?
We forget, we feel like it's Friday.
What's what?
What's Dave Brown gonna do this weekend? Dude, that wasn't not a fluke. I don't know if it's not a fluke. You know, it happens all the time. He stood in there so good.
Again, big thanks to Rock Lucas and Charwood Golf Club for having us out here today for the 24th annual LC Lucas Memorial Tournament, honoring Mr. Lucas, who again founded Charwood Country Club in 1978. They
also do it to honor Veterans Day. Again, big thank you to all our veterans out there, whether they're serving or have served, for giving us the ability to live the life that we enjoy living. For Patrick, for myself, for Jen, being able to come on each and every morning and to talk about something as silly as sports, and to cut up and talk about donuts or coffee or whether Christmas music is okay at this time of the year. Certainly, we are thankful for the veterans that give us the freedom and the ability, or have given us that, to be able to do that. Again, we are out. Patrick and I are here at the 24th annual LC Lucas Memorial Tournament today at Charwood Golf Club, honoring both Mr. Lucas, who was a World War II Navy veteran, and veterans as a whole. If you want to donate today to Charwood Charities, 803-755-2000 is the way to do that. It has been my favorite time of the week. Jen, Rooster P, since you finished second on the text line, is questioning your knowledge. I know the answer to this, of course, because, I mean, why wouldn't I? Rooster P would like to know, what is used to inflate the tires on a NASCAR race car?
What is used to inflate the tires?
Yeah. What is used to inflate? What is I guess.
Okay. I honestly don't know. I'm going air compressor, but, come on, Carrie, tell me, what is it officially?
Carrie, you got it. I'm go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I think they put some nitrogen in there, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I thought he meant
But,
the apparatus. Okay, sorry.
yeah, well, the apparatus is an air compressor. Yeah, I think
Okay.
you're right on that one. Absolutely right on that one.
I'm
But,
sorry. Yes.
you
Nitrogen, my
know,
bad.
we should ask Kyle Larson's team. They put in the second best pit stop of the whole season to help him get that victory last week.
That was craziness.
I was gonna say you two follow the sport as closely as anybody I know. Kyle Larson winning last year. Kerry, we'll start with you, but just your opinion on that for him, for what it means for his career.
Well, I tell you, a year ago, Bill, he wasn't even racing. He was on the sidelines serving a suspension for using a racial slur during a iRacing transmission, and so for him to come back and win 10 races and win his first Cup Series championship, he was just dominant this year. I think the last time any driver won 10 or more races was 2007 when Jimmy Johnson did it. We know how successful he was. So just a big, big season for Kyle Larson. I think it kind of sets the tone that he is now the premier driver in the Cup Series without question. He's only 29 years old, and he's going to win a lot more championships, I think, before it's all said and done.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I mean, he is a dominant force, really in any kind of car that he gets into, because he's done the dirt racing and things like that. So he's just solid all the way around. He's going to be a force for several years.
Martin Truex Jr. finishing second in the Cup Series standings. Denny Hamlin, my guy, my race. I need a jacket. Either you can y'all, Christmas is around the corner. Shouldn't the winner get a Christmas present from both of you guys? If you guys want to chip in and give me a Denny Hamlin?
Really?
Yeah, why not?
I don't know. We'll look into that.
Yeah.
I think they're on back order, to be honest with you. They're on a boat somewhere.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's that problem of getting. I understand. Jen, I consider your guy, and Kerry, you can weigh in on this. I thought it was wildly impressive, and I don't know what it says that Kevin Harvick finishes fifth in the standings, despite not collecting a win all year long.
Yeah.
He was a guy that last year we seemed to take. One of us would take last year. We would take every week, but this year doesn't collect a win, and was not a guy that I think we took aside from Jen much down the stretch.
They just couldn't pull. It seemed like they couldn't pull it together this season, but he was consistent, but never really was a contender. I guess is my thought, Kerry.
Right. Yeah. Well put. Last year he won 9 races. And so for him to go winless this season, I think it might be one of the biggest stories of the year outside of Kyle Larson. But yeah, I mean, he was consistent, had a lot of top 10s, won some stages, things of that nature to accumulate some points. But yeah, to finish fifth and not collect a win, I think is a little strange. But as Jen alluded to, he was pretty consistent. But really, I think outside maybe of a handful of races, he never really was a contender.
I don't know. And Kyle Busch had that kind of season last year.
Yeah.
Right? So it is odd, the old guys, say that with quotation marks.
Yeah, picking on people. Quickly, we enter now the off season. What are changes, or what is your kind of projection as we head toward 2022 here? And we'll be back at it in February when we head down to Daytona. Kerry, we'll blink. We'll be at Darlington in May.
Yeah.
But your thoughts on the off season here quickly?
On that new car.
Well, I think the biggest thing we're going to face is the new car, the next gen car is going to be a brand new race car in the Cup Series. They tested it. It's actually going to make its debut at the Busch Light Clash on February 6th in the LA Coliseum. They're going to put down a self-made quarter-mile track out there and race on it. So, but I think the biggest thing that we're going to see, guys, is the the introduction of the new race car.
I can't wait. And Dale Jr. was commenting on just like this is just the most amazing thing he's gotten in and gotten behind the wheel of. So I'm really excited to see how this performs.
Yeah, I think so. Me too.
That will wrap up the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series weekly picks contest. In case you are unaware, dead last, Reggie Anderson with WLTX 101 points on the season. Second to dead last, Carrie Tharp, 107 point. That is 107. Thank you for doing that. We'll give you half a point. Carrie Tharp, 107.5 points this year. Third to dead last, Jen Jensen, 119 points. And your 2021 NASCAR Weekly
Bill had
Cup
132
Series
points. Move
Pick'em
along.
Champions, 132 points. I'll collect my number one trophy from Jen Jensen. Carrie, we appreciate you joining us each and every week, man. We look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Absolutely. You guys have a great off season. Thanks for everything.
Thank you, Carrie. We
You too,
appreciate you.
Carrie. Look forward to it. Thank you to Charwood Golf Club to Rock Lucas for having us out for this incredible day. Patrick, you and I in studio tomorrow. I got the donuts.
All right, I got the coffee.
Good. We're good to go.
Gamecocks,
Jen, peace
Braves, the NFL with live local radio. 107.5 The Game, WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia, a Cumulus media station.
Competitive edge in today's red hot.
Yeah, that one location that I sent a note about.
Sorry, Jen. Hold on. I didn't get back to the. What were you saying? I didn't get back around to cutting my computer back on to hear you talking.
Oh, I was just saying that one location of Duncan that, I reached out on Twitter and they said they'd have a franchisee call me. Okay, that's been a week. Still haven't heard from anybody. So I sent them a note back and I said, well, I don't know if they made changes or not because not planning on going back. Apparently this isn't a big problem for you guys. So I'm fighting them, man.
You keep fighting the good fight. I'll keep going by there and unfortunately paying more than you typically would.
That's right.
That's how we balance each other out. They know that they figured out that we're one and the same, and that unfortunately I'll keep coming back.
Right. Oh man,
right.
We just have a good day on the course.
We will. Patrick's heading to get some sleep. For everybody, Jen is heading home tomorrow. She won't be here, so it'll be Patrick in the producer studio, me in the studio, and we will get you through a Friday. And everybody wish Jen good luck. We'll see Jen back on Monday. Is that correct, Jen?
I'll be back on Monday, flying back on Sunday. Quick trip up to see Mom and got some of her nieces and nephews from Southern Indiana that are going to come up, so should be fun.
We will do it all. So everybody have a great Veterans Day. Again, if you're watching and you're a veteran, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you to Charwood for having us out. It's been great. And Patrick and I will see you in the morning.
Right.
Take care.
See you guys.